Doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Reese on the radio, making sense of the news. Yeah, even when it makes no sense at all. Now on WTIC, News Talk 1080.
What's wrong with being an angry prophet denouncing the hypocrisies of our times?
Do you want to be an angry prophet denouncing the hypocrisies of our times?
Yeah, I think I'd like to be an angry prophet denouncing the hypocrisies of our times. Then grab it, grab it.
Oh! What's going on? Scallywags, nutmeggers across the fruited plain. It is Reese on the radio on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC. Plenty of news and plenty of views to get into today. You can opine, give your opinion, or what the hell, talk about whatever you want. It's 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842. Go to ReeseOnTheRadio.com right now. If you're sitting at your desk, you're in the office, and you can, you're out of sight from the boss, put in an earphone, whatever the case is, and go online, go to ReeseOnTheRadio.com. You can watch the show live, and if you want to chime in, go to Facebook, go to Rumble, go to Twitter or X, whatever it is, and you can opine right there and go in the chat room. I'll be reading some of your chats today. I try to get to all of them, but I don't. I don't get to all of them. Anyway, we got plenty of stuff to get into today. We've got congressional hearings or confirmation hearings, as it were. We'll get into that as well. So just don't worry. We got a lot of stuff to get into. Somebody said in the chat room that no sound on Facebook. I don't know why that is, but that may be because no, the sound is there. The sound should be good to go. So it might be you. I know that everything here is working up to par, but if you can't, just go somewhere else. If you can't see me on Facebook, I'll check on that as well. Don't worry. I got too much stuff to get into. Just go to another platform. Anyway, that being said, there was breaking news today, but I want to go back a little bit. I just want to go back a little bit because Reese on the radio told you that it wasn't just going to be a new day. It was going to be a new personality. We were going to be dealing with something that we had not seen before from the Trump administration. Very smash mouth. Success was going to be based upon sort of in your face, but not for the sake of being all rowdy. Rah, 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 rah. It wasn't that. It was just going to be in-your-face confidence. We are coming in knowing what we're going to do and how we're going to do it. And we were going to be able to respond to our usual adversaries because they don't change. They don't shadow box. They do the same thing over and over again. It's the reason why they're insane. And I told you guys that the approach was going to be different this time. I warned you it was going to be different. And I also told you that the naysayers were going to be who they are. Let's go back to that bald-headed woman over on MSNBC. No, not Rachel Maddow. No. I'm talking about everybody's favorite sister girl who shaves her chest every weekday morning. Joy Reid. Joy Reid hates Donald Trump. And I don't even really believe that she does, but I believe she thinks that she gets clicks because of this. That people like her because she just says the most outrageous nonsense. But I remember playing this. You guys will remember it when I play it. And I laughed at it. I just thought it was funny that these people over at MSNBC would think that it was a bad thing that Donald Trump was telling the world I'm coming. Daddy's on his way, and he's got his belt in hand. And your room better be clean when I get there. Joy Reid said this.
We are seeing a global trend of the far right surging. It isn't just happening here. But let's bring you back to the U.S. and to our local gangster, Donald Trump. He's not even president yet, and he's already spending his time sitting in his golden palace, Mar-a-Lago, muscling other countries like he's Tony Soprano with a social media site. Doing things like, reportedly, debating whether or not to invade Mexico. Threatening BRICS countries, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, with 100% tariffs if they don't commit to trading in dollars and not their own currencies. Demanding Hamas release all hostages being held in Gaza before his inauguration, or there will be, quote, all hell to pay in the Middle East.
Joy Reid was upset about all of that. That was something that they were upset about over on MSNBC. Donald Trump going after Mexico for allowing illegals to come into the country with fentanyl and all types of drugs, and, of course, bringing in people to assault Americans. Joy Reid had a problem with that. Telling BRICS countries that they were not going to invent a new petrodollar. It was going to be the U.S. dollar. Oh, how dare him. What a gangster. Oh, and if Hamas, the terrorist organization, didn't get in line before Daddy came home, then somehow these were bad things. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, nothing made me tinkle just a little bit. But when this happened.
This is CNN Breaking News.
The breaking news coming in to CNN, a senior Biden administration official confirming that Hamas has agreed to a hostage release and ceasefire deal. I want to go straight to senior White House correspondent MJ Lee with the latest. MJ. MJ, what can you tell us about this deal that Hamas has agreed to? All right, MJ cannot hear us. I'm going to go to Alex Marquardt. This is a massive deal, weeks in the making, Alex.
Poor MJ. MJ Lee is like, I cannot believe this is happening. The reporter was so stunned. She was looking down at her phone and was going, did he really make this happen? Like, is this real? Like, did the guy put out a tweet? Like, did he get hostages free with a tweet on his social media campaign? Like, did he put out a post that told a terrorist organization that if you don't have these hostages freed, by the time I get into office, there's going to be hell to pay? All you have to do is write it down. It's going to send. That's it. And poor MJ Lee is sitting up here going, I can't believe this happened. The whole world is stunned. The whole world is stunned. Michael B. says the pimp hand is strong with this one. Indeed it is, my friend. Indeed it is. The pimp hand is very strong with this one. This is absolutely astronomical. Now, I want you to look. I want you to take this and I want you to throw it back to a terrorist organization called Boko Haram. Anybody remember them? Anybody remember them? Those are the ones who took like 150 African girls, young age and teenage girls, just kidnapped them from a village and kept them hostages. And Michelle Obama was online with a piece of paper that read, #FreeOurGirls. Remember that? And we got nothing. The world laughed at the Obama administration behind that. Yeah, African students, right? Free our girls. Yeah. Remember that hashtag campaign all over Twitter? Nada. Those terrorists went and said, ha ha, that's funny. Oh, hey, listen, send a picture of girls with the hashtag. That's what they did. That's what they did. They mocked the administration and nobody wanted to report about it. They just let the story go. Just rattling, not even saber rattling their fists. Free our girls, free our girls. Nothing. Donald Trump sent out a Truth Social post. You better have them free before I get in office. Hamas goes, And now everybody's pretending like this was Biden's last 11th hour effort to get them freed. But everyone knows. Everyone knows what happened. John Cronin was asked about it by the news media. It went like this.
Was President Trump's threat, that there would be all hell to pay if Hamas wouldn't hand over the hostages before he was sworn in? Do you think that played a part in this?
I don't believe in coincidences. And so I do believe President Trump had an impact on this deal. And obviously the Biden administration was eager to wrap this up before they leave office.
It looks good for Biden. It looks good. You can say that it was because of Biden and because of his negotiations with Qatar, his negotiations with Saudi Arabia, whatever the case may be. Dude, write it on your resume. Just throw it up there. They figured we're going to do it. And it doesn't matter what the date is. It's in 2025 before the 20th. You get all the credit in the world, Joe Biden. It's fantastic. And then all of your other, mind-numb zombies, they can repeat it. Yeah, but it happened while Biden was still in office. And they can pretend there was never any Truth Social. There was never a Truth Social post. Nah, that didn't happen. And I'm loving every bit. And I know that this is just angering the crap out of people. But in my head, I'm going, why? And that's a part of the opening monologue today, is why? Why be mad that when Donald Trump says, do something or else, people respond? Why not? Why is it that it's a bad thing that after talking about, taking over Greenland, Greenland said, well, in an abundance of interest by our citizens, let's talk. Instead of feeling like they're being betrayed. You ever watch the news media? They act like they have been betrayed. They are nobody. They have nothing to do with public policy. They make no laws. They are in charge of nothing. They are elected to do nothing. But yet, Mark Zuckerberg goes down to Mar-a-Lago, betrayed. Jeff Bezos goes down there, he went there, bended knee. Like it's an affront to them that they meet with the leader of the free world, the most powerful man in the world. That these businesses would not follow their lead, would not follow them down that stupid rabbit hole of, dejection, disappointment, depression. That people wouldn't ride with them, that they would go with the winner. They would say, all right, listen, we counted him out. He beat us. He keeps beating us. No matter what we throw at him, he still beats us. You know what? I'm sick and tired of being on the losing team. I'm sick and tired of crying. I'm sick and tired of having to explain to people that everything I said about him or everything I was trying to do to him failed. Those people that are leaving me in droves. You know what? I give up. Don't you guys know the term, if you can't beat them, join them? And that's all that's happening. So I implore you, you can't beat them, join them. Join us. Just join us. It's so much more fun over here. We're having a blast. Even when it's bad, we still find a way to make it good. And if you've been checking out those Senate hearings, you know it ain't looking good. It's not looking good for Democrats. I don't have the audio here. I don't even have the video here because it's just too noisy. But let me give you a perfect example, and I'll take one phone call in a second. So Chip in Coventry, stand by. Let me say to you how I know the tides are turning. And I don't even have to play the audio. Like I said, on radio, it's just too messy. But if you haven't seen the video, go watch the video that went viral yesterday between Representative Jasmine Crockett and Tubbs and Nancy Mace, where Nancy Mace told Sister Girl, ghetto-rific, told that foolish Negro, you want to take this outside? She told that woman. Nancy Mace says, you call me child one more time, we could take this outside. And I was literally getting ready for bed, and we were getting ready to watch the DVR of Jesse Waters. And I said, did Nancy Mace just ask Jasmine Crockett and Tubbs to take it outside? Let's go. And what happened immediately after? Crockett and Tubbs went out and said, Nancy Mace threatened me. No, she said, let's take it outside. And can I give it up? One more applause for James, is it James Cronin? His response to that was, that wasn't a threat. She could have asked her to come outside for some coffee or perhaps a beer. I love every bit of that. 860-522-WTIC. Chip's in Coventry. How you doing, Chip?
Reese, my man, I came to meet you so you can buy me coffee.
You got it, boss.
You stole I wrote down my notes as I'm sitting in my car about the Crockett, and I watched it last night, and I was laughing my butt off because I'm thinking, because you know how, what's Crockett, is her name Crockett?
Yeah, Jasmine Crockett and Tubbs.
Okay, she's black, and the other lady was white.
Mm-hmm.
But I think what really got the other lady, I hate to say white and black, but that's the white lady sitting there, when she said, I ain't no child. Don't you call me child. And I'm thinking, Crockett just kept on going. And did you notice, she does have beautiful hair. She kept on like swinging it to the left and to the right. And I'm thinking, this is not a fashion show, Crockett.
Yeah, she was having a sister girl moment. What we call it, you know what we do when we see the sisters, when they start wagging their finger and twisting their head back and forth, we call that rubbernecking.
I say word, but the other thing, I would have been like, "You feel me, dog?"
That's right, exactly.
And as far as I watched today when Biden blah 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 why is he waiting 5 days to say it's because of him that this deal with Hamas and Israel? I mean, well, isn't that called politics, the lying?
Indeed.
And Kamala, I'm watching her in the background, and she had that like stern look, like, "Are you gonna ever mention my name?"
Yeah, right.
You know, like I'm like, what a bitter, you know what? And the last thing that made me laugh, because Biden has done it before. The last question that was asked of Biden was, I think it was, quote, Mr. Biden, who's to take credit for this deal, you or Trump? And he was walking away. He turns around with that decrepit, demonic look, and he goes, "Is that a joke?" And I'm thinking, no, it's not a joke, Joe. I mean, politics at its best.
So again, he should have responded. He should have responded by saying it was what we had worked on. He could have done that. That would have been the smart thing to do. But again, the reason why he answers like that is because, again, he's slow to the draw. He's not quick draw McGraw anymore. So because he's slow to the draw, he says something silly. Remember that time when he says when he said that one comment and Joe Biden responds and listen to him? I was like, yeah, listen to Donald Trump. He's the one who just called you a clown. Like, did you really think that was an own? Like, it's really bad. But listen, I got to go, Chip. Go ahead.
Hammer time on Monday.
You got it, sir. We got to go. Let's take a break. We'll come back. More news, more views. Your phone calls coming up when we return. It's Reese on the radio on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC.
Follow WTIC News Talk 1080.
800-714-9090.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car.
We're
at work,
still
or with your
here.
kids.
Stop
No matter where
freaking
you
out
are,
over there
call
online.
Now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 five-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS
Was
anymore.
President Trump's
End your
threat,
tax nightmare
that
today
there would
by
be all
visiting us
hell to
online
pay
at
if Hamas wouldn't hand over
TRA.com
the
or
hostages
call
before he was sworn in? Do you think that played a part?
800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Men, the new year.
One minute.
And if you're like many of us, you're going to make a resolution to improve your health. But if you're feeling sluggish and low energy, if your sleep patterns are off, if you've been working out and aren't seeing the gains you used to see, making that resolution may not be so easy. This is Dale for Northeast Men's Health. And if you're feeling the way I just described, we can likely help you with that resolution because those symptoms probably mean
Roland,
you're
you
suffering
said you
with low
don't watch
testosterone.
you're not really
And at
into
Northeast
the
Men's
Marvel
Health,
movies,
we're
are you?
experts in treating this condition.
Into what?
You
Put
don't really
protocols.
get
If
into
you're
the
like most
Marvel
men,
movies, do
the
you?
change will
Oh yeah, I am.
You are?
You'll feel
Yeah.
good energy and better mental clarity.
Yeah, me and my brother-in-law, we watch all of them.
Oh, okay.
You'll likely find your sex.
I even do the Disney Plus spin-off shows.
You do?
Your initial
Wow. Yeah.
$10 and includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on testosterone the day of your appointment,
Yeah, Tim.
free. Call 800-930-5956 or go to northeastmenshealth.com. We have 5 offices: Salem, New Hampshire, Dedham, Marlboro, Woburn, Farmington, Connecticut.
What's up, everybody? You know who it is. You know who it is. You know who it is. It's Reese on the radio. Frederick Douglass of the 21st century.
It's WTIC News Talk 1080.
We are back. Reese on the radio, News Talk 1080 WTIC. We'll get right to the phones as soon as possible. Some those people who are checking us out on Facebook and on all of the social media sites. Thank you. Every day I get at least another a significant group of people who either follow the show or friend the Facebook page. Following is great, don't get me wrong, but if you want to friend it, don't be shy. You can friend. I don't take it literally. Don't worry, you won't get bugged by me sending you messages or trying to get you to follow. I don't do all that stuff. It's literally for the show for you to watch and enjoy. So if you're on Facebook, if you haven't become friends with Reese on the radio or WAC FM, that, my other, page, you can do that, at your leisure. But we're trying to blow that number up. I was looking at a number not too long ago, and it was about the amount of people who listen to WTIC in the state overall. And it's not that I wasn't satisfied. I was actually quite pleased because it's talk radio, and I understand everybody else out there wants to, shake their hips and, bob their heads to the latest ridiculous rapper talking about his ex-girlfriend. I get it, but I believe that what we do here is not just important, but I think it's much more entertaining. At least that's what I'm trying to do. I want to make I want to make talk radio fun again. Or if I can, make talk radio great again. That's what I want to do. So I want those numbers to go up. So as many people as I can to get listening to this network. It doesn't matter whether or not I'm on or not. I believe that, because to be honest with you, that gives me leverage if I do that. But I want as many people listening as they can. This is never going to be, ever going to be a boring, stodgy old. We're not doing that. Yes, that's right, John Beckman, and laugh. We're going to always have a good time. And you guys make it even more fun for me. So if you are and you're listening and you're saying, hey, I really would like to follow Reese on Radio on Facebook, but what do you say? Of course I would. I'm greedy like that. Of course you can join us on Facebook. Let's get to the phones. 860-522-WTIC. Jim is in Willington. What's going on, sir?
Oh, Reese, nice to talk to you. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, sir.
A couple of small points. Number one, California water reclamation and their politics.
Uh-huh.
All they got to do is call up anybody in Israel or Denmark or Holland and find out how they get water. I would encourage your listeners to check out what Israel's done with water since they don't have any,
right?
And how much water they have now. As a matter of fact, they have so much they give some to Syria.
Wow.
And other countries. As far as the fires go, I'm sure you've been talking about all that stuff. It's an absolute disaster all the way around.
It's a leadership problem. It always has been a leadership problem.
Oh my God, it's just terrible. I'm not going to beat that dead horse anymore. And then the last thing I would say is, any common sense Democratic politician who hasn't had the political spine to fight against the monster they created, which is that far left, progressive left.
Indeed,
they're going to be thanking Donald Trump yet again, because the only person that could defeat that crazy progressive left ideology is Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Not only did he do it, but he's also going to be the impetus that's going to allow common sense, I would say, somewhat moderate Democratic Party politicians to start seeing the light about the politics that they're all getting involved with, and they're going to start to see that, hey, we got to jettison the monster we created. This Trump derangement syndrome in and of itself is a derangement syndrome against the American public.
Do you
And
remember,
Trump,
Jim,
Yes,
do
sir.
you remember last year I said that 2025, there was going to be a new word that I hoped was going to be the word of the year. Like Webster puts out a word of the year that was used everywhere. Do you remember what word I said that it was going to be? It is related to California wildfires and, of course, like, the looting and all this stuff. Do you remember the word that I said that I believed was going to be the word of the year coming up?
Oh, my. Reese, I don't remember your name until you tell me your name when I get on the air.
I'm telling you it's going to happen because I'm already hearing people use it, and I'm saying they're using it ad nauseum. The word is accountability.
Yes, sir.
Accountability.
Yes,
it is
sir.
the word that everyone is using now because if there's anything that is going to destroy Gavin Newsom, right now there's a recall effort for Karen Bass, but there isn't one for Gavin Newsom because the last time it failed miserably. In fact, he got more votes than he did in a regular election. But accountability will play a role for this reason. Gavin thinks that his poo doesn't stink so bad. He literally blamed Elon Musk for looting in the state because Elon Musk reported that the state is lax on punishing people for looting. Can you believe that?
Well, you know what? You want to take it back one step. All I've been hearing out of Newsom, or most of the stuff, is, this is something historic wins. You know what? They've had those fires in that state for 300 years. And the bottom line is they didn't do the maintenance. They didn't do any of the things they were supposed to do in terms of water.
Yeah.
They've got the worst water reclamation policy on the west coast of any state, including like Nevada or Arizona. And they continue to get the majority of their water from a snow melt and from other states. They built an unbelievable water system that gets water down into California. That's great. But they've done little to nothing to use water from the Pacific Ocean.
California wildfires, their surprise at their wildfires would be like Buffalo surprised about lake effect snow.
Yeah, it's just, people smarter than me are going to realize it. But you know what? When the upper 1% we keep hearing about, the people that are screwing America because they don't pay enough taxes, well, the people out there in California, the upper 1%, who had their homes completely wiped out, who probably will never be able to build there again because they're trying to save some type of a small brown-nutted squirrel, you're gonna see something. Who knows what?
Oh, no. I'll tell you what's going to happen. It is going to be a quiet transfer of political ideals. That's all it's going to be. They're going to do it quietly. And it's the perfect time because this year was the year that the celebrity learned that they had no influence over the election. So today they can quietly just switch parties and nobody would know and or care. That's the beauty of it.
And the last thing I'll say, and then I'll get off the air, is this. You take a look at the similarities between the Maui fire up in Lahaina and the California fires, and you look at the water policy in both of those states, and it's ripe with the same left-leaning BS that guarantees that the citizen is going to get screwed if they have historic fires like they both had.
Exactly. Birds of a feather, my friend. Thank you, sir. Tony is in Southington. How we doing, Tony?
Yeah, I'm doing great, buddy. How's it going?
All right, sir. What's up?
Oh, here. Let me hit you up with a couple of quick talking points or monologues for your future shows.
You got a minute.
Yeah, okay, you got it, man. One, I want to say, why are we getting billions to Ukraine every year for the past 4 years, and we're not taking care of people and citizens in North Carolina or California for our own drama and issues? Okay, that's talking point number one or whatever. Number two, life is what the individual makes of it, regardless of race, creed, gender, or sexuality. The only thing that I'm going to freaking pull back on sexuality is I truly believe transgenderism is a mental disorder, because why can't you be heterosexual, gay, or lesbian, but now you're violating women's rights by trying to get into their sports?
Hey, I just say, I don't care if they're transgender, and I don't care if they have mental, I don't care if they have mental dysphoria at all. wear your dress, man. Hang out, wear the dress. I mean, if you want to wear the dress at an NBA game or not even an NBA game, in fact, if you want to play in an NBA game in a skirt as opposed to a pair of shorts because it will definitely thwart the defense, have at it. I just say, please stop doing it in the girls' locker room. That's all I'm saying.
Absolutely. Part of it takes away the women's rights that they are looking for and what they want.
Indeed.
And I do not recall, in the past, I do not recall any Republican taking away any women's rights whatsoever. And the extra little connection to this is no one has been a good Democrat since John F. Kennedy, if in any case at all. They picked up on some stuff, dude, that doesn't help out people that truly need help or encouragement to change their lives to be equal or better than any other race, creed, or gender or religion, bro.
Couldn't believe it. Couldn't agree with you more, Tony. Thank you, boss man. I appreciate you. I want to say this real quick. Okay. Now, I know people are going to get mad when I say it, okay? But, yes, it was Alex Jones, okay? But did you hear this audio tape, speaking of John F. Kennedy? Has anybody heard about that? And, again, I've been hedging, but apparently this audio has been around for like 8 years, or at least it's older than that, but it's just been circulating for the last 8 years, and now it's made public view, and it was trending yesterday on X like a big deal. And I don't know if anybody heard it, but apparently it's implicating LBJ in the assassination of John F. Kennedy. I don't know if you heard it. I've got to get in touch with a friend of mine who used to be on it. She's been on this platform as well. She's been here on WTIC. And I got to find her number and get her on here. Because this, again, is a wild rumor that is now being caught on tape from from the individual who was Lyndon Baines Johnson's best friend from the DNC. And in this audio, he implicates LBJ as the person who sanctioned the murder of John F. Kennedy because he was insulted by him. I don't know if you heard about this, but the video was going everywhere yesterday, and I listened to it last night, and I was completely struck by this. And according to the individual who had the tape, this has been circulating. Trump has actually heard the tape a couple of years back, or at least they believe he's heard it. Don Jr. has heard the tape, and several other people have heard this tape as well. And it only lends itself. Now, let me tell you why I'm saying this. It lends itself to what Tucker Carlson said about, not Panetta, Pompeo, Mike Pompeo, telling Donald Trump not to release any records on John F. Kennedy because that there are rumors that it may reveal that LBJ was responsible. And that's all I'm going to say about this. But I know that people, I've already opened up a can of worms with that. Not that I'm not fearful of that, but I know it's Whack Job Wednesday, folks. Okay, it's Whack Job Wednesday, and I told you guys that I never miss a beat on these things, but it just happened last night, at least when I saw the video. So anyway, we'll get into that. We got more news, more views when we return. It's Reese on the radio on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC.
The county just requested more electric charging stations.
Orders have really amped. each week you look at the scale and the number goes down and down. Every morning you wake up, you feel better and better. For me, I had huge spurts of energy. I still do. And my anxiety is totally gone. Experiencing those results, and given how easily Awaken 180 was, there was no way I wouldn't reach my goal. And I did. And so did my wife, Alice. She dropped 35 pounds. If you add it up between us, that's 115 pounds combined, thanks to Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Awaken 180 Weight Loss is the only weight loss program I know that puts their money where their mouth is. They're so confident in your success, they offer free support for life. A one-time investment in yourself for a lifetime of benefits. Online at awaken180weightloss.com. That's awaken180weightloss.com.
Prescriptions require an online healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it. Did you know that 1 in 4 people seeking treatment for ED are under 40? So you're not alone. And even better, HIMS can help. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs at up to 95% less than the brand names when you get started at hims.com/joy. It all starts with an online intake form. From there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. Through hims.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Millions of men experience ED, but HIMS can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/ your free online visit. hims.com/joy.
It's Reese on the radio. Ask your doctor if common sense is right for you. On News Talk 1080 WTIC.
And to be honest with you, it usually isn't right for everybody. It's Reese on the radio. Let's go straight to the phones. Ralph's in South Carolina. I keep saying North Carolina. Why do I keep saying North Carolina? You're in the better part.
Yeah, well, some days, you eat the bear, some days the bear eats you.
Yeah, there you go. What's going on, Ralph?
I'll tell you something really weird. They were watching the weather today. They're talking about maybe snow down here next week.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Al Gore is probably going to go into hiding.
Possibility, they're saying.
Anytime it snows in the South, Al Gore goes into hiding, and he refuses to respond to requests for a statement. He just will. Anytime it goes against the global warming thing, he hibernates when it snows down south. I love it.
They're scared. They're afraid of the truth. But the reason I call watching the hearings, I don't know if they happen to see it.
Okay, of course.
Adam Schiff has got to be one of the lowest life forms on the planet.
Yes.
And have no conscience whatsoever. Him and Richard Blumenthal, they make a good pair, the two of them.
Oh, yeah. I watched the both of them today as well. Did you get the impression that either of those men laid a glove on Pam Bondi today?
No, because Pam Bondi had the answers for their questions. And I think, she wasn't, and she was honest.
Yeah,
if you listen, Schiff was talking about charging what's her face there from Oklahoma. Yeah.
Oh, you're talking about what's her name? Liz Cheney.
Liz Cheney, right? About investigating her. Well, if she's done nothing wrong, first of all, why does she need a pardon if she gets one? Because if she has nothing wrong, and if looking into investigating wrongdoing, there's nothing wrong with that either. That's the way it should be done. And if you find nothing, you find nothing. But if there's something there when you have the proof, you've got to do what you got to follow the law.
Yeah, indeed. You're 100% right. In fact, let me let you go because I got to play this, which sort of dovetails or at least captures exactly what Ralph in South Carolina is talking about.
I'm asking you, sitting here today, whether you are aware of a factual predicate to investigate Liz Cheney.
Senator, no one
Based
has
on
asked
what you
me
know.
to investigate Liz Cheney. That is a hypothetical.
The president has called for it publicly. You are aware of that, aren't you?
No one has asked me to investigate.
But the president
Liz.
has
We're
called,
also
the
worried
president,
about Liz Cheney,
the
Senator.
president has
You know
called
what we
for
should
this.
be worried about?
Ms. Bondi,
the
please
crime rate
answer
in
my questions.
California right now
You are
is
aware,
through the roof.
Ms. Bondi,
Your robberies are 87% higher than the national
My question
average.
is this.
That's what I
My
want to
question
be
is
focused
this.
on,
Do
Senator.
you have the
If I'm
power to say
confirmed as
no to the
Attorney
president?
General.
And what you're suggesting today by your non-answer is you don't have the independence to say no to the president.
Yeah, Adam Schiff doesn't give a damn what's happening in California. Adam Schiff's in Washington. Just like Blumenthal, burn it down. My state. I'm not here for them. I'm a Washingtonian. I'm here to fight Trump. What's happening in my state? What's it? Nuclear meltdown? Well, how does it affect us going after Trump? It doesn't? Okay, well, tell those folks, Godspeed. Put their heads between their legs and kiss their butts goodbye. Don't worry. We got Trump to deal with, man. Listen. Tell them Godspeed. Their senator says, God bless them. Yeah, my house burned down too? Yeah, I don't live there. I don't care. Let them loot it. I don't care. Schiff don't give a damn about California. He lives in Washington. Let's get our first check of the traffic with Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center. How we doing, Mark?
Hey, Reese, thank you very much. Good afternoon to you. Good afternoon, everyone. 91 southbound coming into Hartford, delays 33 down to 32 A and B. And you're going to come into some real heavy stop-and-go traffic now as you move down. Approaching exit 24, the Celestine Highway in Rocky Hill, we have a jackknife tractor-trailer down by exit 22 in the Route 9 interchange. And right now, we were only seeing one lane open down there. That would be the left lane. Right and center lanes are blocked, so stay to the left there. If you are traveling on the northbound side of I-91, you've got a good ride Cromwell through downtown up into the Windsor area. 84 westbound tied up 56 Governor Street out to 45 Flatbush Avenue. 84 eastbound slowing a half mile before 46 Cincinnati Avenue into the Bothby Bridge. If you are traveling on the westbound side of 84, a little tight as you move between exit 40 and 39A in Farmington. 291 384, that looks good. Westbound just a little slow as you merge with 84 West and East Hartford. 9 northbound tight Harbor Park up toward the Aragoni Bridge. If you're heading on the westbound side of 84, got some slow traffic in Cheshire, 26 to 25 in Waterbury. Again, slowing 22 to the Mixmaster in Waterbury. 84 eastbound, heading into Waterbury, delays 17 up to the Mixmaster. Heading into New Haven, on the southbound side of 95, you got delays, 46 down to 43 in West Haven. Northbound Parkway is pretty much sluggish and stop and go from exit 54 in Milford all the way up to exit 59 in New Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
Traffic on I-84 in Hartford keeps on moving slower, but at Columbia Implant Center, we're only getting faster, providing you with specialist care assisted by cutting-edge technology. 1 day, same day, 7 days a week. Visit ColumbiaImplantCenter.com.
WTIC weather.
For the rest of our Wednesday, breezy with sunshine and a few clouds. The high 33. Going to feel like it's down in the 20s with that breeze, so feeling quite cold. Clear, breezy, and quite cold tonight with the low all the way down to 17. A mostly cloudy day for Thursday. Cooler, the high only 31. Becoming clear Thursday night, the low down to 19. Then Friday, partly sunny, not as cold, the high of 38. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
WTIC is 99 and throwing a year-long celebration to 100 years on the air. This is WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
4 o'clock, good afternoon. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. Progress in ending the fighting in Gaza.
Be right back.
Wallace.
President Biden says
Okay.
Israel and Hamas have reached a ceasefire and hostage release deal.
This is the ceasefire agreement I introduced last spring. Today, Hamas and Israel have agreed to that ceasefire agreement.
CBS's Remy Inocencio is in Tel Aviv, where people are celebrating in the streets.
There is happiness, there is relief. I'm texting some families of hostage victims, and they're saying that they are, quote, very excited for it.
There are also celebrations in Gaza. The hostage releases will be spread out over several weeks.
For every one living hostage that is released, it's understood that 30 Palestinian detainees would be released in exchange.
Eventually, all Israeli forces would withdraw from Gaza and reconstruction will begin. The ceasefire will take effect on Sunday. Israeli airstrikes are continuing in Gaza today.
Reaction to the ceasefire coming in from Connecticut organizations. The Jewish Federation of Greater Hartford says it is pleased and welcomes the news, lauding the work toward, quote, unprecedented coordination to bring both sides together to get a deal done. The Connecticut Palestine Solidarity Coalition released a statement saying, quote, we are relieved by the ceasefire and hope the Gazan people can properly mourn and breathe for the first time in 15 months. The death toll in the LA wildfires is now 25. This is Fire Chief Kristen Crowley.
Firefighters observed
30 to 40 mile per hour winds with low humidity.
Correspondent Lilia Luciano reports the fires have destroyed numerous schools.
Nearly 6,000 students have remained out of school since the fire destroyed at least a dozen schools. And what I've heard from those students, from the parents, from the officials, is the importance of keeping a sense of normalcy. What that means at the LA Unified School District is keeping students together wherever they end up going to class.
Two Fairfield teens facing charges after police say the pair were building homemade explosives last month. Police say one of the devices went off, causing serious hand injuries to one of the suspects. Under arrest, Nathaniel Lennon and Dan Calarco, both of Fairfield. Back on December 1st, police say they were notified by an area hospital that one of the teens was injured. Detectives, along with the FBI and bomb squad, worked the case. They determined the devices were made from materials the two purchased online and at retail outlets. Inflation picked up last month as prices for gas, eggs, and used cars increased. Labor Department reports shows the Consumer Price Index rose 0.4% from the month before and 2.9% from a year ago. CBS business analyst Jill Schlesinger.
Even though energy accelerated in the month of December, year over year, energy prices down by 0.5 percentage point. Food overall was up by 2.5%. Food at home up by 1.8% from a year ago. Dining out costs you more, up 3.6% from a year ago.
Back here, Democrats in the state legislature hoping to resurrect a measure that would see striking workers eligible for unemployment compensation after 2 months. Governor Lamont vetoed a similar measure last year, but State Senate President Martin Looney says the bill is assurance that workers who are out on strike don't accept an unfavorable deal.
It is not a choice. It is a necessity, usually because of the intransigence of management in refusing to bargain in good faith. And workers should not be required to suffer or be under economic pressure that might make them cave to a settlement that's not fair and not equitable.
Lamont and legislative Republicans argue unemployment benefits are reserved only for those who lose their jobs through no fault of their own. Closing bell report sponsored by Bouvier Insurance. Big day for the markets today. Dow up 703 points, NASDAQ up 466, and the S&P up 107 points. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group. And I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney. And the truth is, I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney or if I look like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. At Wesley,
30 seconds.
Where 40,000 families cancel their timeshare without me being an attorney. And I want to share with you how we do it. Just give my office a call, and you will not talk to an attorney. And I guarantee if we take you as a client, we'll get you out of your timeshare, or you'll pay nothing.
Man, 10.
Your free information kit. 800-714-9090. 800-714-9090. 800-714-9090.
Stay locked in. Reese on the radio is on WTIC News Talk 1080.
This could very well be the stupidest person on the face of the earth.
Do I look that stupid? Yes, you do.
What is the stupidest thing that I've read today? Football season is pretty much over with the exception of the playoffs, okay? And for those of you who are enjoying the playoffs, congratulations if your team is in, and may you win it all. I'm no hater. I like football for the sake of football, and a lot of people do. That doesn't, we like the contest of playing the game. And I'm not just talking about the people who are willing to spend their children's college fund on betting. I'm not saying any names, but I know a guy who's won 2 Emmys, and, who's into that thing. But, no judgment, no judgment. But if this were to happen, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know what I can tell you for this franchise. According to the Wall Street Journal, could Deion Sanders be the coach of the Dallas Cowboys in the future? Is that possible? Roland, you got to tell me that you don't. Is that look possible? Do you think it's possible that they would give him a chance because of his little Colorado run?
Correct. Well, not because of that.
What? Well, tell me what you believe because he's got a storied relationship with the franchise.
Correct. He won Super Bowls there.
Did he win Super Bowls there?
He won. I think he won one Super Bowl.
At least one as a cornerback.
Yeah, at least one.
At least one. Okay, I mean, I get that. But is it –
that was the last time they won one.
That was possible. So. But I kind of feel like it's gimmicky to bring Deion Sanders in. He's been particularly gimmicky in the last couple of years. I almost feel like, I got what he did for the historically black college, what is it, Jackson, Mississippi? Yeah, and
Jackson State, yeah.
Yeah, Jackson State. What he did there was absolutely phenomenal. He got them on ESPN. He got them a lot of attention. It didn't garner them any money. Do you know not one quote-unquote black celebrity gave them any money? He was getting robbed. They had to wash at the hotel in the swimming pool.
In the swimming pool, yeah.
In the swimming pool.
That's why he left.
Yeah, that's why he left. He got no real support from anybody after he gave them, literally national prominence. So he goes to Colorado, and then all of a sudden this now, and I'm saying, I got it. Deion is a draw. But
no, the draw ain't the word, man. If he becomes the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys, man, talk about money. Sheesh.
Well, he'll make a lot of money, but I kind of feel like it. Mark Christopher's in the BPS Traffic Center. Mark, are you a football fan? I don't remember ever asking you. Okay, so I'm asking the question whether or not is it beneficial to the Dallas Cowboys to have Neon Deion as their coach, or is this just, are we running out of gimmicks for the franchise?
Yeah, I don't know. He's hard to say.
It's so weird, right? I don't know. Not that I don't believe that he could coach a NFL team, but I kind of feel like there is a lot of people out there that they could be looking for instead of another popular name.
Yeah, it seems like it would be more qualified candidates than him at this point, although he's been coaching college for, 3 years now?
Yeah.
But I don't know. How do him and Jerry Jones get along long term?
I think they're really, really good friends, though.
Well, yeah, maybe. I could see that the first year working out pretty well, but then as time goes on, how much Jerry Jones is just too much too involved.
Yeah.
And even the Dallas fans know that, too. So.
Oh, yeah. He's the West Coast Steinbrenner from the Yankee days.
Yeah, that's a good way to look
at it.
Oh,
yeah, I've always thought that.
He doesn't fire guys as quickly as George did, but
right.
But unlike George, they haven't had a lot of success in a long time.
Yeah, indeed.
So at least George won world championships.
Well, that's what I believe. And I used to say that about Dan Snyder in Washington, is that there were a bunch of guys who were working like Steinbrenner but didn't have Steinbrenner's sort of golden touch.
Exactly.
They didn't have the touch that Steinbrenner had.
Well, Steinbrenner didn't skip. He spent his money.
Yes, he did.
And he got the best players, and sometimes it worked out really well. Other times it was a bomb, but he tried every year to win the World Series. No question about that.
He never let it linger, my friend. He never let them linger.
No. Hey, if you're heading into Hartford right now, Southbound 91, you got delays 30. How many times did Billy Martin work for him as a manager? 3 or 4 times anyways. It's just incredible. I love the news conference after one of Billy's hirings, and they started fighting right out.
Oh yeah, right there,
fighting with each other. So it was just great theater all the time, and that's what got you on the front page or the back page of the Post.
Yep.
If you're heading into Hartford right now, Southbound 91 delays 34 down to 32 IMB. We do have an accident down by exit 22 in Cromwell, the Route 9 interchange. It's a jackknife tractor trailer. Only the left lane gets by there. Delays are approaching exit 24 in Rocky Hill behind that. Northbound 91 moving well, Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. Westbound 84 tied up 56 Governor Street to 45 Flatbush. 84 eastbound sluggish approaching 46 Sisson Avenue to the Bulkley Bridge. 291 through 84 looking good. 2 westbound's a little slow as you merge at 84 West. 9 northbound, you've got delays Harbor Park up to the Aragoni Bridge. 84 westbound in Cheshire slowing 26 to 25 in Waterbury. Again at the Mixmaster. 84 eastbound slowing by 18 in Waterbury. If you're traveling on the northbound side of the parkway, look for delays from exit 56 up to 59 in New Haven. South 95 New Haven slows 46 down to 43 in West Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Clear, breezy, and quite cold tonight. The low down to 18. Mostly cloudy on our Thursday, the high 34. Becoming clear Thursday night, the low down to 20. Partly sunny Friday, the high 38. It's 28 in Meriden, 25 in Waterbury, 27 in Hartford. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
Hair Volume is the best-selling hair tablet in the world and one of many award-winning natural hair products from New Nordic. Purchase at newnordicusa.com or at CVS. That's newnordicusa.com.
Sports became a bigger part of WTIC in the 1950s. In the early years, the focus was on coverage of the Hartford boxing scene, as well as local football rivalries and annual coverage of the Indy 500. In 1952, we started covering what was then the Insurance City Open, and 72 years later, we are still covering the tournament, which we now know as the Travelers Championship. In 57, we started regularly broadcasting the Boston Red Sox baseball team, and as you also know, the games are still heard right here. Also in 57, George Ehrlich, who was then considered the best play-by-play announcer in all of New England, joined the sports staff here, and with Floyd Richards brought UConn basketball and football to listeners. In 1973, WTIC became the radio home of the Hartford Whalers and broadcast the games until the team left Hartford in 1997.
Feel like everything's
1 minute.
Doubt?
Got it.
Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com. Our psychics are available to talk 24/7, and we guarantee if it's not life-changing, it's free. Experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
I love this song. I love nachos.
Loving everything? You might be buzzed.
You know what I'd love? A ride when it's time to head out.
If you see a buzz warning sign, call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for less. And for a limited time, new customers receive their second month free when they sign up and use promo code SECOND. 26th. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
President of the Chris Murphy Fan Club, Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
I feel like that guy's been in hiding for a little while. Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC. What's going on, Chris? Where you been? It's a perfect time for you. You should be out there, huh? Rallying the troops. What's going on? It's very weird for you not to be anywhere. Does he have a TikTok video out? Is he doing the new dance move or something? He's supposed to be he's supposed to be getting with the culture, you know, hanging out with the bros. Ugh. Back to the phones we go. 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842. Fred is in Middletown. How we doing, Big A?
Hey, good. So first of all, I think that 1877 cans for Chris has some more life left in it.
Looks like it.
An earworm and that's an earworm and a half. I would play that plenty more, dude.
Thank you.
Yeah. And as far as Lyndon Baines Johnson involvement in the Kennedy assassination, a half truth is a whole lie. If you want to know the story, JFK to 9/11, everything is a rich man's trick. It's a 2.5-hour documentary that basically just tells you everything. There were 7 shooters. Some hit, some missed. The last guy that actually blew his brains onto the trunk of the car, he was in a sewer, and that was one of Lyndon's 2 hitmen. There were like some guys.
So there's
from
some truth to
Chicago.
this story, according to the head of the DNC on these tapes.
Oh, I don't know about the tape. Johnson was the least important of the 12 men in the room who, you know, put the final seal on it. I mean, he had, you know, they wanted him involved, and he was going to be the next president, and he was a dirtbag, scumbag at the DNA level.
Yeah.
But it wasn't his game. He was running with the play, man.
Okay.
He wasn't the quarterback by 5 miles.
What was it? Can you tell me this? This is the one thing that I haven't been, and I've heard all the theories. What was the impetus for getting rid of, or what was the thing, the catalyst to getting rid of Kennedy? And I've heard many million different things. What's the, I don't know, the overwhelming theory?
The nut of it, yeah. So, to my understanding, it's the same reason Lincoln was killed. It had to do with like money, you know. It was like all this Federal Reserve hokey stuff. And then there were a few other little things, but real quick, I won't spit the whole poem. Allow me, if I may, to put a leash on a conspiracy theory and then walk it home. When they killed Kennedy, they killed one of their own. Yeah, he was one of them,
Right.
but who was not evil. You know, he never
I got you.
You know, had sex.
So he
with the
didn't play
devil.
ball.
Yeah. He stepped down on something. You know, yeah, he didn't play ball on something. You know, he didn't get it. He didn't get it like that. Yeah, no, you're just, yeah. And that word accountability, and then let's squeeze culpability. Ultimately, we want accountability to mutate into culpability. And real quick, Elon Musk, he's responsible for the looting because he pointed out that, you know, there's no laws against looting.
Right.
Somebody, I forget who it was, I think it was the governor, said something about organized gangs are going, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say gangs, organized groups of folks.
Oh, my goodness.
Like when President Biden referred to the illegal alien who killed Lake and Riley, and then he said, I'm sorry, no one is illegal.
Yes, no one is, yeah.
Call him illegal. Yeah.
It's pretty bad.
JFK to 9/11, everything is a rich man's trick. It's the best 2.5 hours of education you'll ever spend.
Okay, I'm definitely going to look that up. Thank you,
you.
sir.
Bye-bye.
You got it. Joe's in New Hampshire. What's going on, Wall Street?
Yeah, hi, Reese. Did you get ordained the other day?
Not yet, because he would not come on the program. He's,
that's a shame.
That's what I said. I thought he would too. But apparently they don't want to be questioned. They want us to adhere. You know, kneel before Zod. Don't.
He was warned. He was warned not to for his own.
Probably so.
I'm watching Superman as we speak. The series at home.
Roland's watching Superman. Yeah, I'm just saying. Like, he refused. He just wants us to kneel and do his bidding and do as I say. So he didn't want any of that. What do we got going on there, sir?
I heard you talking football and coaches, but I remember a while back you were like going over Bob Kraft supposedly coming here to Hartford.
Yeah,
and he pulled
it's a big
out.
thorn in the side of Connecticut.
Yeah, you didn't know the complete story. Well, I was here. I was skeptical. It all started, the Whalers, you got to remember, the Whalers had just left in April of 97. And this was spring, summer of 99.
Mm-hmm.
And Brady, I think, came the following season. Imagine that. He would have been here his rookie year. But anyway, Kraft came down to Hartford. Roland was the governor.
Yep.
And everybody was so starved for a professional team. And Kraft took advantage of that mindset.
Yeah, sure did.
He knew it wasn't like he was going to a place that, had just lost a major team and it really hurt Hartford. So he came down. He brought players with him.
Mm-hmm.
Those clinics.
Yeah.
It was in the spring, summer of 99. But here's the key, which you didn't know about. He bonded. He wanted to show his good faith. He was definitely going to come because we're not going to build him a new stadium.
Right.
They gave him so much time and they didn't come through. So he put a $1 million bond down. Now, Connecticut should have insisted on more than $1 million. They should have insisted on 10.
Yeah, something that he couldn't afford to lose.
Yeah, $1 million, even back then, $1 million was chump change. I mean, they let the Whalers could have been forced to stay one more season, but by letting them go right away, I think the stake at $1.2 million.
Wow.
That was in 97. But in terms of, how they spend money, it really wasn't much. So he put up $1 million bond, and he strung Connecticut along for a few months.
I know.
And then all of a sudden, toward the end of the summer of 99, the news came out, they're going to build him a new stadium. And he just pulled out with no explanation. And he forfeited the $1 million bond.
Yeah.
That's all it cost him. But a lot of bad publicity and hard feelings here in Connecticut. I was skeptical. I remember the people on this station. Even there was a newscaster called Scott Gray. He was very popular, sportscaster. He used to give a monologue every morning. He's up in New Hampshire, north of me. He's up in the lake area. He has a house maybe 200 miles north of me. But he bought it hook, line, and sinker. He was saying what a great thing it was going to be. And then as soon as he pulled out, Scott Gray talks like he knew it all along. It was like he didn't know that people like me had a memory a few months earlier.
What was the sad part? When I moved to Connecticut in 2004, one of the first questions I asked about that divide in Hartford, of all places, because in my view, I'm looking at the geography and saying to myself, Hartford is too far north to be this much into Yankees and the New York Giants. It made no sense to me geographically. And then I heard the story about Bob Kraft and the New England Patriots. And then it made sense because it was like such a bitter, and it was overwhelming the people in Hartford who were Yankee and Giants fans. And I said, I didn't realize that it was that much. Now, there are people, Torrington, not so much. You're not going to find a lot of Giants fans up there. But just south of the city, I mean, Bridgeport almost feels like it's New York. And you ask some people there, they think they are because they still get, the hip-hop station, Hot 97. They still think that they are. That they're part of New York.
I grew up in Stratford, right next to Bridgeport, and it was a New York suburb. I mean, all the television stations, WPIX, New York, Channel 2, the Giants games on Channel 2. They had the Yankee games, even day games, back when Mickey Mantle was playing.
Yeah.
I used to run home from school. I got out of school at 10 after 2. The day game was starting, and I got to get home to see Mickey Mantle come up to bat. If I got home about 2:25, he'd be up in the bottom of the first. But half the time he wasn't even playing because he was injured all the time. But anyway, Stratford, Bridgeport, that's a suburb of New York City in terms of media and
I mean, I knew, like I said, I knew that once I got up here, when I started, that was my first job when I got up here, when I was working for the power station up in Hartford. My job to get up here, in fact, I was up here in March, even though our show wasn't starting until April 1st. I was up in early March, like late February, early March. I was up here every week. And we were staying in an apartment, and I had to learn everything I could learn in a month about Connecticut. And we started at Bridgeport and worked our way all the way north of Hartford, and that was how I understood how UConn was important here, the divide between the New York and the Connecticut teams, and that whole breakdown. And what I learned about Bridgeport and New Haven was it was quite an education, because I thought Brooklyn was the ghetto until I got to New Haven. I'll tell you that much. I got to go.
They had a spot in East Hartford picked out for a brand new stadium. Kraft
I know.
Even had that set up.
I know.
There's going to be a brand new stadium right on the shore of the Connecticut River in East Hartford. They had it all laid out. It was like a 3-month project, and then they just pulled out abruptly when they said they'd do it up in because they took Hartford seriously up in Massachusetts. They knew that it was going to happen. But I don't think Kraft ever thought it was going to happen. He was going to get his way in the end. And that's why people can't stand Kraft anymore. Because
I know.
what he did here. The way he went about it was not good.
Yeah, indeed. Thank you, boss man. I will say one thing I learned about Bridgeport. Roland, you would probably know this. There's a song called Everyday Struggle by Notorious B.I.G. I know you know it. But that's how I knew, I remember the association in my head when I got to Bridgeport. I said, no wonder these people think it's New York. Like, everyone thinks it's New York. And there's a famous line in a song of Biggie's, Notorious B.I.G.'s first album. And it's, what was it? He goes, smoking mad Newports because I'm doing court for an assault that I court in Bridgeport, New York. And I remember when I first heard that, and I went, Bridgeport's not New York. But everybody thought it was. Everybody treated it like it was New York.
And there's not a Bridgeport, New York, a real Bridgeport.
Yeah, there's no real Bridgeport, New York at all. Yeah. And when I heard that line, I was just like, for an assault that I caught in Bridgeport, New York, that's not a real place. But then you go to Bridgeport and you talk to the people there, and they very much behave like it's their, like they're a part of New York City. And we wanted that. I'm not going to lie. When we got here, we wanted to own that town. Like, as a station, we wanted it. We wanted people in Bridgeport to know that we were here. And we made a little bit of headway. Let's go to Dr. Steve, who's in Cheshire. How we doing, sir?
I'm good. Nice chatting with you, Reese, long-time listener.
Thank you, sir.
I wanted to call about, on one side we hear liberals or Democrats are often pitting, saying climate change is the explanation for every terrible weather event that happens in America and in the world. But I also see the flip side, which is I feel like we're constantly accusing DEI of being this big boogeyman that causes terrible things in politics and education and business and everything else. And I frankly, I don't buy it. Like,
so let me make sure I'm getting it. Let me make sure I'm getting that the point that you're making right. So you're saying that when people accuse DEI, you think that they're taking it a little too far as to how the DEI affects said calamity, whatever it is, or the situation that happens in a negative way, so to speak. Here's the best way to describe it. It's saying that the implementation of DEI into the role of said person, like in essence, let's say take Karen Bass as an example of how they blame DEI. If the conversation is Karen Bass needs to be mayor because we've never had a black woman mayor in Los Angeles, if that's the impetus, right? If that's the reason why we have to elect her, and then people elect her based on that, and then something like this happens, you call DEI the reason because it's always used as the thing that we need to do, but it never wants to be
Just
applied.
keep talking
when
until I tell you.
It never becomes the thing when it fails. So I'll give you an example. When Joe Biden says, I need to elect Kamala Harris or a black woman as vice president because it's never been done, and then she turns out to be feckless or ineffective, and then you say she's a DEI hire, it immediately becomes a negative connotation when you use it against them. So DEI isn't sort of far afoot from the actual accusation, if you will. If you hire somebody because of DEI and it goes wrong, DEI is the reason, because how it was all implemented was under the auspice of DEI originally. It wasn't about her qualifications. It wasn't about her readiness. It was black and woman.
Yeah, but I guess let's not throw the baby out with the bathwater, as they say.
So are you saying that we should keep DEI where it's effective?
All right.
And I know you just gave an example where you feel it's ineffective.
Well, no, hold on. No, I don't want you. No. I don't want to cut you off. Listen, Dr. Steve, stay on the line for me. I got to get to a break because I got to get to the BPS traffic center. So stand by. Let me do that with Mark Christopher, and then I want to elaborate a little more on this because I don't want you to lose your focus, and I need to understand where you're coming from. So let's get to Mark Christopher in the BPS traffic center. Hey, Mark.
Patriots are never coming to Hartford.
I know.
NFL makes their money through television revenue. You're not going to leave a top 10 market.
I know.
And put your team in a television market that was in the 20s probably at that time.
Yeah, exactly.
It was just not going to happen just from that fact alone. And the stadium was actually going to be built somewhere around the area where the convention center is now.
Yes, that's exactly where. Yeah.
It wasn't going to be in East Hartford.
That would have been in our backyard where we were broadcasting in 2004. It would have been right behind us. That stadium.
Oh yeah.
They would have burned. I know
right.
They would have had to take down my building.
Yeah, you were right down on Columbus Boulevard.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you would. No, that would have been a little south of. The stadium would have been just north of where you were.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, sort of where the convention center is now.
Right.
But yeah, just from the I knew that all along. NFL is television, and you ain't going to move out of a top.
Gotta roll.
Yeah, gotta go.
That wasn't going to happen. If you're heading into Hartford right now, southbound 91 delays 33 down to 32 A and B. We have that jackknife tractor-trailer accident down by exit 22 in Cromwell. The right and center lanes are blocked. Stay left to laser back to exit 25. Behind that, westbound 84 is slowing from 56 Governor Street up to 47 Sigourney. 84 eastbound, some tight traffic approaching 46 into the tunnel. 291 through 84 okay. Middletown's a little slow, 9 northbound. Harbor Park to the Aragonese Bridge, 84 eastbound, slowing in Waterbury by 18. Northbound Parkway, you've got delays from 57 up to 59, and 95 southbound, slowing 46 to 43 in West Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather. And now, a WTIC news update.
4:30, good afternoon. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. The WTIC Weather Center forecast calling for breezy conditions for what's left of the afternoon. Tonight it's clear breezy, low in the upper teens. We'll see a mostly cloudy sky for Thursday. Temperatures in the low 30s. Tomorrow night, clear cold, those in the 20s, and we'll wrap up the week on Friday with partly sunny skies and a temperature of 38. Currently, we have a temperature of 27 in Hartford. As far as the news is concerned, officials announced that Israel and Hamas agreed to a ceasefire deal to pause the 15-month-old war in Gaza. That raises the possibility of winding down the deadliest and most destructive fighting between the bitter enemies. Jewish Federation of Greater Hartford released a statement on all this today, praising the developments. Palestinian organization, Connecticut Palestinian Solidarity Group, says it is happy but wants to see an end to what it calls Israeli apartheid. Senate Democrats resurrecting a bill that would see striking workers become eligible for unemployment benefits if they're out on strike for more than 2 weeks. Governor Lamont vetoed such a measure last year. Republicans in the Senate, though, criticizing the bill, saying it sends a tone-deaf message to the business community. Glastonbury police say a man struck by a vehicle in town last weekend has died. Philip Burleson was 61. Police say he was struck attempting to cross Glastonbury Boulevard. The driver is cooperating with that investigation. U.S. Attorney for the District of Connecticut, Vanessa Roberts Avery, announcing the arrests of 7 gang members in Hartford. They're all part of a gang that's been terrorizing the North End for the last decade and a half. And Florida Senator Marco Rubio painted a dark vision of the consequences of America's unbalanced relationship with China. He echoed President-elect Trump's anti-globalist agenda as he vies to become the Secretary of State. Rubio on Capitol Hill today during confirmation hearings, as was Trump's pick for Attorney General Pam Bondi. Wall Street, the Dow finished up 703 points to 43,000. NASDAQ gained 466 points, and the S&P was up 107. Women's college basketball tonight, 6th-ranked UConn at St. John's. Looks like Paige Beckers will play in this game after she's missed about a week with a knee injury. NBA tonight, all the locals in action. Celtics in Toronto. Knicks take their show on the road to Philly, and the Nets are out late in L.A. against the Clippers. NHL locals are idle tonight. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Traffic is brought to you by the Heyman Law Firm.
If you or a loved one has been the victim of medical malpractice, know that you are not alone. Call 1-800-HEYMAN and they will get you the answers and advice you deserve. Attorney John Heyman is your legal authority in medical malpractice. Call 1-800-HEYMAN.
Hey, it's Tom Shattuck here with Mark, who, like me, learned how easy losing weight could be with Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
After meeting with the staff at Awaken 180, I thought they took everything about me into consideration and said, okay, based on where you want to be, what your goals are, here's what you should do. They laid it out for me. Now, I've had a couple people that I've recommended that have joined Awaken 180. Their program is a little bit different than mine, but we're all seeing results. So I like the fact that they took the time to kind of tailor something to my needs. I looked forward to going on Mondays for my weigh-in. They're very welcoming. They knew who I was just after the first visit. They looked forward to seeing me. And it was almost like just coming home to a family. I mean, it really felt like they were all my sisters. I really look forward to it. I'll go back once a month now that I'm on maintenance, but they're true professionals, and they're very, very nice people.
Nice people who genuinely care about your success. Succeed. Take the first step and reserve your January consultation today. Awaken180weightloss.com.
Damon John here. The people share a secret that's changing people's lives. There is a company called National Debt Relief that can help you get out of debt faster than you ever thought possible, like 12 to 48 months from now. With National Debt Relief, you can cut your minimum credit card payments by 50% and pay as little as $250 a month. Imagine, instead of paying multiple high-interest payments every month, you can make one low monthly program payment plus.
Hold off on 5 o'clock focus for Dr. Steve,
minutes.
okay?
They've helped hundreds of thousands of people just like you.
5 o'clock right now.
Yeah, I know. Just we'll push it back a little bit. I just want to I want to deal with this caller real quick.
All right.
You can reduce your credit card debt and become debt-free. Call 800-234-7799. 800-234-7799. Again, that's 800-234-7799.
Don't wait. Apply today.
It's Reese on the radio. And don't say we didn't warn you on News Talk 10.
You won't have time right now.
I know. All right, I'm not going to have enough time for Dr. Steve right now, but with the next break, we're going to talk to him because I've only got a minute during this break before we get back to traffic. So Mark Christopher can tell you how you're getting home, or if you're getting home for that matter, because I heard there was a lot of accidents on there. In fact, I'll ask him when we get to how that jackknife on that turned over tractor trailer was. We'll get to 5 o'clock, folks, in a little bit. But this right now, this conversation between myself and Dr. Steve, this is a perfect conversation. Because I know that there are some people who have expressed their support for DEI. And what I want to do here is to understand where he's coming from here. And I don't dismiss people, just out of hand because I don't agree with DEI. I need to understand, because if somebody's really that sort of, I don't want to use the term hardliner, but if someone really believes in a idea, it can't just be because it sounds right or it feels good. There has to be some sort of inner workings to that idea, or at least the reason why they believe in it. That's what I want to do here. I want to understand why he says, no, let's not throw the baby out with the bathwater. Okay, I need to get that defined. So I hope Dr. Steve will understand that I'm only holding him over, not to argue with him, to understand where he's coming from, and then to sort of have a back and forth to see where we are. Okay, and to see if he can see my view or if he can convince me out of mine. All right, so we'll do that in a second. So thank you, Dr. Steve, for sticking around. Now, let's get another check on your roads with Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
All right, Reese, thank you very much. We have the remains of a jackknife tractor-trailer accident. This is 91 southbound, just prior to exit 22, the Route 9 interchange. Right and center lanes are blocked down there. Stay left. Unfortunately, the traffic is barely moving down there. You got delays back to 25 S and N behind it. I'm sure a lot of folks jumping on to the Silas Dean Highway and taking Route 99 south to try to get around this. But right now, that's an area if you don't have to be on 91 south of Wethersfield into Cromwell, try to avoid that. That is barely moving. Northbound 91, that is moving well. Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. Westbound 84 slows 56 Governor Street out to 45 Flatbush Avenue. 84 eastbound slowing approaching 46 into the tunnel. Some sluggish traffic 84 westbound from exit 41 to exit 38 in Farmington. Also, if you're traveling on the Berlin Turnpike southbound Newington into Berlin, that is seeing some extra heavy traffic as folks are trying to avoid I-91 heading down in toward Cromwell. 291 through 84, okay, so the river. 2 westbound's a little slow as you merge to 84 west and East Hartford. 9 northbound, you've got some slow traffic, Harbor Park up to the Aragoni Bridge. 84 westbound in Waterbury slowing 25A to 25. 84 eastbound tight by exit by exit 18 in Waterbury. And if you're heading northbound on the Parkway, look for slow traffic in Orange from exit 58 to 59 in New Haven. 95 southbound delays 46 to 43 in West Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Clear, cold, and breezy tonight. The low down to 18, then mostly cloudy. Still cold for us on Thursday, the high 34. Becoming clear and quite cold again Thursday night, the low down to 20. Partly sunny Friday, the high of 38. Cloudy and breezy Saturday, a bit of snow and rain at times in the afternoon. Little or no accumulation, the high of 41. Currently 27 in Mansfield, 28 in New London, New Haven at 30, and it's 27 in Hartford. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
If better health, more energy, and detoxing your body are some of your priorities this year, get Active Liver today and start the year off knowing you're giving your liver some well-deserved relief.
You can find Active Liver in stores at your local CVS or online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com.
Hi, Joel Johnson here with Johnson Brunetti. Hey, retirement income. Are you sure that you're maximizing your retirement income? Get the retirement income checklist from us, absolutely free. Text the word checklist to 1-800-705-1232. Again, call or text the word checklist to 1-800-705-1232. A checklist to maximize your retirement income.
Investment advisory services offered through JB Capital, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Insurance products offered through JN Financial, LLC.
sports became a bigger part of WTIC in the 1950s. In the early years, the focus was on coverage of the Hartford boxing scene, as well as local football rivalries and annual coverage of the Indy 500. In 1952, we started covering what was then the Insurance City Open, and 72 years later, we are still covering the tournament, which we now know as the Travelers Championship. In 57, we started regularly broadcasting the Boston Red Sox baseball team, and as you also know, the games are still heard right here. Also in 57, George Ehrlich, who was then considered the best play-by-play announcer in all of New England, joined the sports staff here, and with Floyd Richards brought UConn basketball and football to listeners. In 1973, WTIC became the radio home of the Hartford Whalers and broadcast the games until the team left Hartford in 1997.
We all hear the
One minute.
IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
The self-proclaimed love child of Rush Limbaugh.
They're running a strange program, y'all.
Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
All right, we are back, and we've got Dr. Steve on the line. Just hold up. We either will or we won't do a 5 o'clock focus. I know we normally do, but this was such a great call just because of the nature of it. And I don't want him to lose an opportunity to have an exchange to sort of hash this out. So, Dr. Steve, if I have you correctly here, you believe that there are some tenets of DEI that are good, which is why you said, why throw the baby out with the bathwater? Is that why?
That is correct.
Okay. Now, if you can explain to me the good tenets of DEI.
Yeah. Sure. And to be clear, I'm a centrist. You know, I challenge both sides. I look for inconsistencies, and so I'm not strong in one way or the other. But I do feel like, as a physician, there are innumerable examples where DEI has played an important role in healthcare education, in addressing healthcare disparities, in the population of people that we take care of. I can give some concrete examples. Very specific, very simple one that just comes to mind real quick is in the medical education space. If you look at dermatology, for generations, for centuries even, the focus of all dermatologic education was on light skin, was on white skin. And so people, medical students, nurses, physician associates were always trained on how to identify skin cancer in white patients. And of course, that's not representative of the entire population. And if every derm textbook only shows white people's skin, you're not going to get competent clinicians being able to identify skin cancers in dark-skinned people. And so how does that change happen?
Is dark skin different than white skin outside of color?
Yes.
Tell
absolutely.
me. Please tell me.
Yeah, there are numerous different, race is in many ways a social construct, but there are still differences based on skin color because the way that, melanin itself, which is what makes, one person's skin darker than another's, actually has impacts on carcinogenesis, on how cancers can start in the skin. And if we ignore that, or even the fact that it's just harder to detect some skin cancers, like a melanoma, since it's by its nature, it's a hyperpigmented dark area, it's harder to see in a darker person's skin. And so we have to potentially have different screening approaches to detect skin cancers in darker skinned folks.
Okay, so we believe, so if I'm getting this right, we need better education instead of the old. In other words, we need better education into understanding other types of skin based on melanin, and race plays a huge role in that. Okay, that's fine. We've got the diverse part in. Now, explain to me equity.
Sure. So just to be clear, to run that through, if there's nobody championing that type of education, it will never happen because like any other institution that's got centuries of people behind it and is largely, by the way, led by white male physicians, it's like a Herculean task to change the direction of that ship, to start to say, hey, you know what? We are neglecting education on an important subset of Americans. And so we have to make this change. So how are we going to make that change? We need people to convince the leadership, which again is mostly white male deans of medical schools, et cetera, that this is important.
Well, so okay, are we under the impression? Are we under the impression because they're white and male that they have no interest in other skin colors? Are we meeting them at where their hearts and minds are? Like, do we understand? Like, are we under the impression that we know that doctors don't care about these things because they're white and they're male, and this immediately makes them, I don't know, bigoted or uninterested?
Yeah. I'm not saying bigoted. I'm just saying that traditions are hard to change.
Okay.
And so if you were trained in a certain way, you're accustomed to that. This textbook has been the time-honored textbook and just needs updates periodically. And so when you suddenly say, okay, you're watching a lecture, all the images that are being projected are showing white people's skin color and how to make various diagnoses to various things. And if you say to that professor, hey, I noticed that, I know like 20% of our population is not white, so how come there aren't any images representing that population here? You may get some resistance. You may get
are there studies? Are there studies in school that are actually geared towards or focus on different kinds of skin based upon race and ethnicity? Are there dermatology classes on that? Okay, so they're available.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, good. All right,
and there are people who really study those things.
Okay, good. Let's move on from this because I think I get what you're saying. And here's why I'll tell you where there's a flaw in where you believe, like, let's not throw the baby out with the bathwater. Okay. Yeah. So what you're talking about is a real world problem that needs to be solved. In essence, in order to cure disease or deformity, whatever the case may be, right? An actual medical issue, we need to be able to understand that certain races, like Jews are susceptible to a particular kind of disease that others are not. True. African Americans are susceptible to sickle cell, where white people are not. Totally get that. True. And that information needs to be available. But see, that's not DEI. Here's the DEI. The DEI would be, we have black people who have dermatological problems, and we need black doctors to treat them. You see my point?
Yeah, well, here's the interesting thing. No, I hear what you're saying, but if you look at, the American population is 13% blacks.
Right.
The actual number of physicians who are black men is 3%.
Right.
And to be clear, that number has been the same since 1970.
Why?
And why? Hey, structural racism is why.
No, actually, it's not. I'll tell you. No, it's not. I'll tell you exactly why. See, you keep omitting, and this is the part that I never understand when people who have this argument. Everything you do in life is about choice. See, I wanted to be an architect when I was a kid, but guess why I'm not an architect? Because it was difficult and I sucked at it. I wanted to be one, but I sucked at it. Yeah. And I made a choice that I could not do it and I wouldn't do it. That always plays a role in this. It's not like there's, again, if you're talking about structural racism, there are and have been black doctors. There are and have been black lawyers. But remember, when we talk about the decrease of people who choose certain roles, it's because of other choices that they made as they got older. It's like asking the question. It's funny because blacks will sooner choose football or basketball than they would choose baseball, even though it is just as lucrative to play baseball as it would be basketball, and in fact, less arduous on the body. Why don't they choose the sport? And again, or why aren't there more in that sport? And it's because they don't choose. Because in black neighborhoods, it is probably more profitable or much more popular to play football and basketball. And baseball, on the other hand,
if you're a little black child and you go to the doctor or go to the hospital or go to see any healthcare professional, you don't see a single black male role model.
What's that got to do with me getting better?
Decisions that you're making.
But what's that? Wait. What's that got to do with me getting better? If I'm going to see the doctor, what is it? No. What is it about the black doctor that's going to make my sickness go away that the white doctor can't do?
Well, it's about role models, man.
Oh, so I need role models.
Sees a black, of course you need role
No,
models.
you actually see.
I mean,
Hold on. Now, Dr. Steve. Now, look, I don't mean this. It's going to sound mean, but I don't mean it. I'm saying it completely tongue in cheek. Okay?
Okay.
All right. You don't understand how supremacist that just sounded to a black man.
Please continue. Yeah, go ahead.
No, it's very supremacist. You just told me that I need role models. Why?
Well, not you
well, I know
specifically.
not
I
me,
mean,
but you're saying black people need role models because if they don't.
God, no, I did not mean.
Okay.
I wasn't referring to you. Whether
Okay.
You're black or
No,
white.
not me.
That's
I'm not
irrelevant.
saying me. Anyone. Look. No one needs
I'm just saying people, kids.
No,
Kids
I
need
understand
role
that.
models, right? I
People.
mean,
No. No, first of all, no one needs a role model. Kids choose their role models. Everything that we do in life is about choices. We choose.
But imagine if you're a kid and all you see is black athletes and or musicians or whatever, Hollywood, and you never see black lawyers, black doctors.
Then I'm
black
allowing
teachers,
that
black
person to
astronauts.
determine that. See, again, that's also another thing that people think is sort of like indicative of black life. That in order for us to be something, we had to see it to believe it. I was a young
Well,
person.
It's certainly an influence.
Hold on.
right? You can't deny
Everything
that
in
it's
life,
influence.
everything in life is an influence. Let me give you another perfect example. And I used to have this argument with black listeners all the time on the hip hop stations. They would go, yo, man, you want to be a drug dealer because that's all you saw in your neighborhood was drug dealers. And then I would go, did you watch Good Times growing up? And the guy would go, yeah, man, I watch that every day. And I said, you saw James Evans a senior and James Evans Jr. and Michael and Florida and I forget the daughter's name, but somebody will remind me. I always forget the daughter's name. But anyway, you watch them go through sitcoms every day. You watch Different Strokes every day. These people watch it. In every one of those TV shows that you grew up, there was always a moral to the story on how to be good or how to be. These are influences too. And it always told you that there was always light at the end of the tunnel. You watched Good Times, which was a poor family on welfare trying to get out of the ghetto. The same situation you lived in. And you're telling me that you were more influenced by the drug dealer on the street who eventually either ended up locked up or in jail, locked up or dead, instead of the role models that you saw on television, on TV, by the way, Florida Evans, John Amos playing, James Evans Sr. You saw these people on television, and those things didn't inspire you. The thing that inspired you was the guy who was getting locked up on the street. No, that's nonsense. You chose the person who was your role model.
Well, I guess one can't. I don't think one can argue that it's not a factor that the child has no control over, that they see some influences in their lives, or they see some factors that are going to influence their decisions about their career trajectory.
Then don't be a coward. Don't be a coward. See, these kids, I'll tell you exactly what's going on in the black community. As a person who lived in Hollis, Queens all of his life until I left. All right, until I was 20 years old when I moved to Manhattan. The one thing that I knew about Hollis, Queens growing up was that everybody wanted to do the same thing. And if you did something different, they ostracized you. If you wanted to be educated, you were made fun of. If you wanted to be a nerd, you were called less than. Look at him trying to act white. Look at him not being authentically black. And you have to decide, and I always say, the weaker would immediately stop that behavior and go the wrong route. The people who I considered strong were the people who said, I don't care what you say about me. I'm going to make a better life for myself. I'm not going to be in the same position. There is nobility in poverty. There is no nobility in being on welfare and paying for things in food stamps. I'm going to be better despite what these people say. So when I see this diversity, equity, inclusion, this is the part that, to get to the crux of your original question, throwing out the baby with the bathwater. The most important thing to recognize in the DEI space is it has nothing to do with your value, except for the value of your skin color or your sexual orientation or the fact that you're a male or a woman. That it has nothing to do with your talent, your brain power, the things that you can innovate or actually bring to the table. It has to do with the most simplest and the most basic thing, your immutable characteristics, something you could never change anyway. And when you bring somebody in based on those things, you can never fire them no matter how little they bring to the table. I'm not valuable because I'm black. I'm valuable because I'm smart. I'm valuable because I can think on my feet. I'm valuable because I have new ideas. I'm valuable because I think. Those are the things.
And no one wants a world that that is the way you just described it. I completely agree. I don't want a place where we hire incompetence,
right,
simply because of particular demographic characteristics. I completely
Then
agree.
we have to force them. That's the thing, Dr. Steve. We got to force them. And I'm sorry, I say this to black kids all the time when I talk to them. I'm forcing you. I'm telling you, you are not to get a job because you are black. You are not to get a job because you're a black male or a black woman. You are never to get a job on that. Because guess what? Other people know you got it because of those things. They know that you're not good enough. Everybody knows that nothing you actually brought to the table was worth. The only thing you brought to that table was the thing that can give no value to your position, and that's your skin color or your gender. Nothing about you is pure. I remember that great line in the Avengers when Robert Downey Jr.'s Tony Stark says to Captain America, "Everything good about you came out of a bottle." That's what I think about DEI. Yeah, you know that line.
Well,
exactly.
But here's the thing, though. I mean, DEI is not just about recruitment. You know, I mean, as I said before, DEI is also about making sure that there is fairness and appropriate content being transmitted to the next generation. So even if, regardless of who you hire or how you hire them, DEI is not just about that. It's also about looking at the medical education curriculum and saying, hey, we are inappropriately teaching that black skin is thicker than white skin and that therefore they can't experience pain in the same way. And that's a real phenomenon that was in medical education, that was in medical textbooks until very recently.
Yeah, no, I understand that there are things that, listen,
working on those things.
You're 100% right in the idea that, look, there's an old way. I'm learning every day that everything we learned about science was an absolute joke. And yes, we need to elevate that and put it to a place where real science is really being taught and real science is really being accepted and no longer the status quo. You're 100% right about that. And if race is a factor of that, Dr. Steve, we have to address that. And there, you and I agree. So I appreciate the time, sir.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
You got it. Please call back ever in the future, man. I love this exchange. It's nice to talk to new people. Nothing against you regulars, but I like the new folks too. Let's get another check of our traffic with Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center. How we doing on the roads, Mark?
Hey, Reese, where we're slow.
You're clear?
Hey, Joe.
What's up? Deja vu.
I know.
From exit 25S and N in Weathersfield.
Thank you for always giving me right up to the end of the break.
Not a problem, man.
It's a trailer accident there. Right now, the right lane is out just prior to 22. They're doing guardrail.
Down there?
Say again?
How things going down there?
Roseanne's over at the hospital. There has been no word. We're kind of on the final days kind of deal.
Yep, yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, so everybody's preparing, and I'm glad everybody's getting an opportunity to prepare. So there'll be some tears, but at least everybody will be ready.
Between 58 and 59.
That's the thing. Everyone will be ready.
Yeah.
291 eastbound, a little slow. I-91 over to the Bristol Bridge. 2 eastbound's a good ride. Glastonbury to Marlboro. 9 northbound.
By the way, now we can do the 5 o'clock focus.
Bridge. Look out for an accident
Okay.
at the end of the Wilbercross Parkway in Meriden up by exit 68 N&E. Delays are back to Miller Avenue. Behind that, on the eastbound side of 84 in Cheshire, a little tight as you approach the 691 interchange. Westbound 84 losing some speed in Waterbury, 25A to 25. If you are heading down in toward New Haven, 95 southbound, some slow traffic, 46 down to 43. Northbound on the Parkway, you'll see some sluggish traffic between 58 and 59 in New Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
Clear, breezy, and quite cold tonight with the low all the way down to 17. A mostly cloudy day for Thursday. Cooler, the high only 31. Becoming clear Thursday night, the low down to 19. Then Friday, partly sunny, not as cold, the high of 38. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
WTIC is 99 and throwing a year-long celebration to 100 years on the air. This is WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
5 o'clock, 25 degrees in Hartford. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. The U.S. has confirmed there is a ceasefire and hostage release deal between Israel and Hamas. Here's correspondent Michael Wallace.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's office says some final details still need to be worked out. That's Israeli President Isaac Herzog urging Israel's cabinet to approve the deal.
I thought I was
Biden
in
says
synagogue
he's
for a quick second there.
satisfied this day is-
Any final remains of hostages who have been killed will be returned to their families, and a major reconstruction plan for Gaza will begin.
In Tel Aviv, CBS's Rami Inocencio says the hostages will be released in 3 phases.
And as we know that there are 7 Israeli Americans among these 98 Israeli hostages, and 3 of those are still believed to be alive. We expect, though, that those 3 will not come out over the first phase, over the first 6 weeks.
In the meantime, Jewish Federation of Greater Hartford President David Warren says the deal and impending hostage release come as a relief.
People across the Jewish community are overjoyed at the prospect that at least some of the hostages will now be coming home after 15 months in the tunnels and the dungeons of Gaza. Babies, children, Holocaust survivors. It's unimaginable what they've been through.
At the same time, Warren says the Jewish community is concerned with the planned release of combatants held by the Israelis and the potential of Hamas to regroup. A Palestinian-American activist from Windsor, Eunice Becker, says he is hopeful about the agreement.
I think time will tell. We're obviously happy for the people of Gaza if they have some type of relief, at least for the, foreseeable future, hopefully. But we also have to remember, Israel has agreed to ceasefire deals in the past and broken them.
Back here, Connecticut U.S. Attorney Vanessa Roberts Avery announcing the arrests of 7 alleged gang members from Hartford. The years-long investigation involved multiple murders, attempted murder, gun trafficking, and other assorted crimes. The group, formed in 2010, Avery says went by a variety of names, including Hood Stars. 15-count indictment was returned by a Hartford grand jury on January 8th. The suspects all looking at multiple years in prison if they are convicted. State Senate Democratic leaders were on hand to talk up a pair of bills, among others, they hope to pass this session. One has to do with unemployment compensation for workers who are out on strike for more than 2 weeks. Governor Lamont vetoed a similar measure last year. State Senate Majority Leader Bob Duff harkened back to a strike by Stop and Shop workers 6 years ago.
And this is one of the reasons why we need this bill. We need to put workers on the same footing as we put employers during those difficult times.
Lamont said last year that unemployment benefits should be reserved for those laid off or otherwise who lose their jobs through no fault of their own. Federal transportation officials taking more action over persistent flight delays.
The U.S. Transportation Department is suing Southwest Airlines, alleging it has illegally operated chronically delayed flights and disrupted passengers' travel plans. The agency has also fined Frontier Airlines for the same issue. JetBlue was recently fined $2 million for chronic flight delays because of, quote, unrealistic scheduling.
That's correspondent Jim Krasula. Shohei Ohtani and the defending World Series champion LA Dodgers will be featured on 4 of ESPN's first 10 Sunday night baseball broadcasts, along with a March 27th appearance on the main opening day. ESPN says it'll broadcast the Dodgers Sunday night tilts against the Cubs on April 13th, the Braves on May 4th, and the Mets on the 25th, and the Yankees on June 1st. Dodgers appeared in the maximum 5 Sunday night games last year, as did the Yanks, the Braves, and the Red Sox. Wall Street, the Dow finished up 703 points today. The Nasdaq gained 466, and the S&P was up by 107 points. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Do you have plans this weekend to head to New York? Whether you take I-95 or the Merritt,
1 minute.
Get stuck in traffic.
Okay.
Come visit us at Columbia Implant Center instead. 1 day, same day, 7 days a week. Visit ColumbiaImplantCenter.com.
Get a head start to your day with WTIC News Talk 1080. Listen to us live on the Odyssey app before you even hit the road. Get the breakdown on the biggest news stories that Connecticut is talking about. To get started, download the Odyssey app and search for WTIC News Talk 1080.
Local news can come at you fast. Want the latest on what's happening in your backyard? Download the free Odyssey app. Follow your local news station, and you'll get alerts on the top stories making headlines in your city. You can stay in the know, no matter what you're up to, and be among the first to find out when news breaks. Plus, keep tabs on weather and traffic, so you're never caught off guard. To get
Here we go.
Got it.
Download the Odyssey app. That's Follow your local news station.
It's the 5 o'clock focus.
It's the 5 o'clock focus.
I'm focused, man.
Oh, man, the 5 o'clock focus involves the tri-state area. I don't know if you saw the New York Post today, but I was completely floored when I saw it this morning when I woke up. And I got to say this, folks. I am never going back to New York. I can't. It is like, it's like Return of the Grateful Dead, or like it's there's no way. No way. How many people died because of this man? And he's the front runner to beat Eric Adams as mayor. Here's the headline. Ex-New York Governor Andrew Cuomo, political prospects looking up as New Yorkers back him for mayor over Eric Adams. Andrew Cuomo is going to get reelected in New York City. We're talking about lockdown, ghost town New York during COVID. The prospects of him becoming mayor of New York City, which I don't care what anybody says, is a step up from governor. You would think it was a step down, but no. The mayor of the #1 city in the country, and he is overwhelmingly popular. The way in which he handled COVID in New York. So here's the 5 o'clock focus question. You going through New York if this guy becomes mayor? Or is that place just a ghost town? Do you just wave as it burns to the ground? I'm sorry. I'll never go back. I thought I wasn't going back after, the muggings and people getting pushed in front of the subway. They got rid of cats. How dare they get rid of cats? What's wrong with those people? There's a reason why it says now and forever. You get rid of cats? It's not even a Broadway anymore. I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding. I've never seen cats. Never. But I'm never going down there. They're going to bring Cuomo back. Mark Christopher's in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, Mark, I'm just never going back there. I know you don't go back all that often unless it's like, you want to look at the Empire State Building, right?
That's right. I think the last time I was there, we went to the Freedom Tower.
You went to the new Freedom Tower?
Yeah.
So you're talking in the last, 10 years?
Yeah, 3 or 4 years ago.
3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah, I haven't been down here in like 3 or 4 years.
And I know you told me which hotel you stayed at. I want to say it's the Marquis. You stayed at the Marriott Marquis. Was that right?
I've stayed there once.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I can't even remember where we stayed.
Really?
What's
If you can't...
What's
Which one?
the old hotel, the really famous one? One of the real famous ones.
It's either the Roosevelt or the... It's not the Plaza.
No.
Regency?
No.
Not the Hilton.
No. Real famous. Well, I can't remember. But anyways, I stayed there once. I was like,
okay.
This is amazing.
All right, well, if you remember, let me know. All right,
yeah,
back,
I will. I'll
back
ask
to
my
your
wife.
thing.
She'll remember. Hey, if you're heading into Hartford right now, westbound,
You're clear.
56 Governor Street out to 45 Flatbush Avenue, 84 eastbound slows approaching 46 Sisson Avenue to the Bulkley. A little slow again, 58 out to 59 in the 384 interchange. Southbound 91 delays 33 down to 32 A and B. And then the real heavy stop and go continues from 25 SNN in Weathersfield down to exit 22 in Cromwell. We had an earlier jackknife tractor-trailer accident there. DOT's on the scene now. They're repairing the guardrail on the right shoulder there, and they're taking out the right lane, so use caution there. Stay left. Northbound 91 moving while Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. 291 eastbound's a little slow in the Bissell Bridge. 2 westbound's a little slow as you merge with 84 west in East Hartford. 9 northbound's a little bit slow as you move Harbor Park up to the Aragoni Bridge. Look out for an accident. Northbound Parkway right at the end of the parkway in Meriden by 68 and in delays are back to the Miller Avenue behind that. Westbound 84 in Cheshire slowing 26 to 25 in Waterbury. If you're heading northbound on the Parkway, look for some slow traffic now as you move between exit 58 and 59 in New Haven, and 95 southbound slowing 46 down to 44 in New Haven. Traffic and weather together. Mark, that's what I'm trying to say. Traffic and weather together on the 8s. WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Clear, breezy, and cold tonight. The low down to 18. Then as we head through the day on our Thursday, mostly cloudy, the high of 34. Couple of evening flurries on Thursday night, otherwise becoming clear and cold. The low down to 20. Partly sunny Friday, the high 38. Friday night, cold again, the low down to 26. Saturday, cloudy, breezy, a bit of snow and rain at times in the afternoon, the high of 41. Bristol at 26, Waterbury 23, Danbury 28. It's 27 in Hartford. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
Hey, it's Tom Shattuck, and we're now in the third week of the new year. Have you lost 16 pounds yet? If no, well, you probably didn't choose Awaken 180 weight loss. I lost 16 pounds my first 3 weeks alone. Switch it up and get your results at awaken180weightloss.com.
Let's be honest, it's not normal. That pain caused from chronic joint pain day after day. Some of you have dealt with that pain for so long, it's part of your new normal, but it's not normal, and you can actually do something about it without surgery and without drugs. That's right. The folks at QC Kinetics can get that done for you. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in what they call regenerative medicine. Joint preservation. You can revitalize your joints with advanced orthobiologic treatments at QC Kinetics. No steroids, no drugs, no surgery. It's the future of medicine. They use an array of natural solutions like PRP to attack the pain from arthritis. It's incredible. Thousands of people with pain have discovered these cellular treatments and are living life to the fullest again. You want to know more about QC Kinetics? Well, they have a free consultation. Give them a call. If you're dealing with joint pain, whether it's injury or arthritis, you can do something about it without surgery. 860-440-PAIN, 860-440-PAIN. They have offices in Avon, New Haven, and Glastonbury. Again, it's QC Kinetics. The consultation's free. 860-440-PAIN.
1 minute.
It's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for less. And for a limited time, new customers receive their second month free when they sign up and use promo code SECONDFREE by January 26th. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Trust and Will knows that we'll all eventually need a will. How about right now? Trust and Will makes creating your will easy, like while you're lounging on the couch easy. Trust and Will is designed by attorneys but customized by you, and all documents are state-specific and secure. Find your plan at trustandwill.com and use offer code RADIO now for 10% off. That's trustandwill.com, offer code RADIO. Trust and Will is an online estate planning service.
Here we go.
Trustandwill.com for details.
It's the 5 o'clock focus.
It's the 5 o'clock focus.
I'm focused, man.
We're back, but before I get to the phones for the 5 o'clock focus, I need to give an applause to my friend and comrade, Jerry Williams. Jerry just sent me a text, and I was talking about the members of Good Times, and I got everybody on there, and I couldn't remember Thelma's name is the daughter, who the actress, her real name was Bernadette Stannis. I'm reading it here in the text he just sent me. He says, I did some acting with her for a pilot called The Big Shot that was filmed locally a few years ago. So Jerry Williams, an actor working with Bernadette Stannis from Good Times, I would have got fired for that job just to hang out with a legend like that just for a minute. I can't act to save my life. 5 o'clock focus question. Ex-New York Governor Andrew Cuomo's looking pretty good to be the mayor of New York City, as if, the damage he did to New York wasn't bad enough, that people are going, sir, more, please. I'd like to have some more. Could you lock us down for another 300 days? Please, sir. Please make sure that you destroy my business. I can't wait till you get back. I just started a new business, and I'd like to go bankrupt. Please, sir, come back. Yes, of course, I'll get all of my friends to vote you in so we could be poor and impoverished, and we could let more and more criminals on the street to rape and pillage. That's what we'll do. Please, sir, more, please. Take us out of our doldrum and make our lives chaotic and sick and crazy. We've been living in tranquility for too long. 860-522-WTIC. Jeff is in Marlboro. How you doing, sir?
Hey, not bad. How you doing, man?
I'm all right. What's up?
Yeah, I just was I was listening to that call you had with Dr. Steve.
Yes.
There. I loved it when he started talking about role models. It reminded me of I'm not a huge basketball fan or anything like that.
Oh, Charles Barkley.
Yeah, he's very famous, and I just remember him. He did something crazy on the court once, like gotten into it with a fan or something like that.
Yep.
Yeah, and then afterwards, there's all this criticism about you're supposed to be a role model. He says, I'm not supposed to be your kid's role model. You are.
That's
Yeah.
right. And they turned it into a Nike commercial because of it.
Did they?
Yes. It was that Nike took full advantage of that. Because again, it was smart because it was saying that don't look to, some celebrity basketball player to be the person that influenced your kid. He believed that every child should be looking up to their parents. They're the ones making the ultimate sacrifice. We're going home with the hot girls and a hot paycheck. You don't look up to us. Look up to the people who make the sacrifices for you every day. Barkley was brilliant in that in that comment.
Yeah. And I think, it speaks to like just what that guy was talking about. You don't need to look up to some DEI hire who got his job because of the color of his or her skin. You need to listen to your parents, get your job because you're smart, because you're good at what you do, because you worked hard,
Exactly. Again, I told I always bring up that impromptu test that I did at a barbershop in Virginia where I asked like 20 guys inside the barbershop, would you rather be the first black or the best in your field? And that was in 2013, and 9 out of 10 of them said they would rather be the first black. I did that again after the election of Donald Trump, and it was 50-50. So the tide's turning. You know what I mean? It's like, it's obviously people believe in being the best at their doing. It's like, I don't want to just be known for being the first black person. I want people to hire me because I'm the best at it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's a good point. Thank you, sir. Let's go to Jim in Cromwell. How we doing, Jim?
Hey, thanks for taking my call.
You got it.
I was calling about the guy that was talking about Kraft.
Yes.
And what happened to the Patriots. I'm from Boston. I've been in Connecticut for 40 years.
Wow.
And I got to tell you, he used the same tactic that what do you call it, Steinbrenner did to get a new stadium.
Yes.
I mean, he basically just played that. I mean, if anybody really thought for one moment, and the people in Boston were laughing at us down here because they knew that he wasn't going to move the team out of Boston.
Right.
Because of the TV market and everything else being different and being much smaller. So, I mean, I just don't know where people's heads are at.
Isn't it smart, though? You know what you just mentioned was, and again, I think it even sort of gives some credence to my conversation with Mark Christopher about that, was that there were Jerry Jones and Dan Snyder in Washington trying to use the Steinbrenner model, and a lot of other sports guys were doing, sports owners were trying to do and what Steinbrenner did. I remember that vividly, where they wanted, or Steinbrenner was suggesting he was going to move the Yankees out of the Bronx if he didn't get a deal to keep Yankee Stadium where it was. And people thought it was going to go to Yonkers. Some people thought it would go to Brooklyn. They thought they would open it. Like there was a rumor that said that they would do a sort of an Ebbets Field remake in Brooklyn if they couldn't stay in the Bronx.
Well, the one thing is that a lot of people didn't do their homework. Where they were going to put that stadium, there's a steam boiler plant down there that would have cost millions and millions of dollars to move. And it wasn't going to be moved.
Do you think that people got so overwhelmed with the possibility that they didn't sort of see the rationale? Like people got so hyped up that they didn't understand that the things that they were asking for were almost impossible, like the TV market, the place where it would be located, how much money it would cost. Like, do you think they got completely blindsided about that because all they were excited about was, we're getting the Patriots?
Exactly. They couldn't see the forest for the trees.
There you go. Exactly right.
And unfortunately, Kraft got a stadium, and Kraft, whether people like him or not, has been very good to the NFL. He settled the strike a couple years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Hasn't had a good track record yet, but people just don't like him because he had a winning team for 20 years, and they seem to think that team should have been down here in Connecticut. And I don't think he had any intention whatsoever of moving the team.
Yeah, listen to me. I'll tell you this. Bob Kraft has got a lot of fans in Boston. When I worked at our former sister station up in Boston, it was the year that they were doing, going through the perfect season. After the AFC Championship game, he got on the what's name, and he was sounding a little slurred. And I came on the air the next morning, and I referred to him as Drinky the Drunk Guy. And the Boston fans wanted my head. They wanted my head. They were like, how dare he disrespect Bob Kraft? I'm like, did you see the interview? He was slurring. He clearly had I don't blame him. I don't have any issue with him having a few, but I called him drinking a drunk guy, and they wanted me done. They wanted my head. I've never seen anything like it. So I don't think he cared that Connecticut was ticked off at him. Trust me, Boston loves him. That's without a doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Boston's a sports town. You know, what can I tell you? It's a big town, big time sports town. Not the
It's
Connecticut
Titletown now, baby. It's Titletown now. I give it to him.
You got it.
Thank you, sir. Let's go to Juan in East Hartford. How are we doing, sir?
We are doing very well with that late breaking news. Unconfirmed sources are saying that in Gaza Strip, they pulled the deal not because of Biden, but because of Trump.
We started the show with it, and you're 100% right, baby.
Another breaking news. Washington, the state of, in the state of Maryland, a new LLC has been formed. New corporation has been formed. Oh, Jimmy Biden, the big guy, and Hunter Biden, they're getting in the Gaza construction business.
No way.
I bet you they will.
Oh,
they gonna have their hands on it. That's the next scheme.
Yeah, well, we'll see. He's going to.
Laying it out.
When is he giving his farewell?
Build a much better Gaza.
When is he giving his farewell address, Joe Biden? Is it Sunday? I think it's Sunday. He's going to be delivering.
He's got one today too.
Has he got one today? Okay, that may be the farewell address then.
We're airing it at 8.
Oh, that's right. So it is tonight.
He
It
has
is
the
tonight.
Farewell letter.
Oh, it's the farewell letter?
Farewell letter.
Yeah, that part I know, but I know
Yeah,
he's got a live address today, Juan, because I think we're going to join it in progress.
Live.
Yeah, we're doing a
You
live
mean
one tonight.
They're gonna prompt him up. You mean?
I forgot. My apologies. I forgot. They are going to prop him up, and perhaps they'll do some. They'll do a little bit of puppeteering on Joe Biden.
Yeah. Yeah. And I tell you, I like that. I like that survey that you've conducted.
Which one is that one?
To give people the one about that you got. Mostly wanted to get the job because they're black.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, First black.
Oh,
into this
doing that?
job,
Yes,
or
the
no,
survey.
wanna
Yes,
be the best.
yes. It is a
Yeah.
good survey
That is.
because it's a good survey because again, it shows. I think it shows where people are in a societal way because there's a particular zeitgeist in every group of people, in young people, in black people, with women, black women, young white women. There's always a zeitgeist that everyone's sort of following in sort of like as a part of their brood, if you will. And it was very popular at the time of Barack Obama's election that many people wanted to or identified with the first black moniker. And not since Charles Drew was there ever that sort of relation to those things. So Barack Obama was bringing that sort of that trend back. Oh, I want to be the first black something. I want to be the first, and I wanted to be lauded for that. But then as it got on and it started to be, well, that's not enough. There's little to it. You only get it or you're getting some sort of sympathy. And people hate sympathy. People hate getting pity, work, if you will. So people really want to.
It goes back to participation medals and participation trophies.
And there it is, right there. Couldn't have said it better, my friend. Thank you, Juan. Always appreciate it, sir. Let's go to Ken is in Terryville. Hey, what's going on, Ken?
Hey, not much, man.
What's
I
going
called for on your last caller before 5, but that rolls into your 5 o'clock focus as far as Cuomo getting reelected. Liberals don't learn from bad mistakes, and they don't see what's in front of them. Steve was focused on that there's not enough black doctors, lawyers, or whatever. But so I wonder if he's upset that on commercial media, there's 97% of it has black people in it when it's 13% of the population.
That's a good point. And it's funny because commercial media, it's sort of like saying, why is it never the other way around? If we've got 85% of the NBA as being African-American, why is there no plight to get more black people into the NBA?
Yeah.
You know, we don't have enough Asians. I don't hear anybody. There's no proclamation to get more of them playing basketball, right?
No.
It's weird. It's just weird.
Well, the liberal ideas, they get what they want, and then they just want more. I'm an auto mechanic, all right? And I've been working on cars for 40 years. And in 2007, we had cars that ran on, almost zero emissions.
Right.
They were fine cars.
Mm-hmm.
And then they got what they wanted, the clean air, and then they went after, we got to try to get, more mileage out of the gas. They made it so expensive on cars that on a 2018 vehicle, a catalytic converter is $7,500 because they're not happy.
Wow.
And they just keep raising the price. And, now they want cars mandating that they brake themselves, they stop on their own. That's an extra $15,000 on a car. You tap your front bumper, there's $5,000 radar unit.
I've always said this, Ken, and it is a mantra that I'm trying to get very popular. You said that the thing with liberalism is that it's never enough. That's the reason why I call them Bond villains, because the world is not enough. They get everything, right? They get everything. And I said it on my Sunday show. And if, by the way, for those of you who don't listen to it or haven't had a chance, go to ReeseOnRadio.com to listen to last Sunday's show. I talked about what's called the woking dead. Now that there has been a tide shift, a pendulum shift, if you will, that's killing DEI and wokeism. Businesses are leaving it, blah, blah, blah. What is to be left of the woke left today now that they've been solely rejected? Because we dealt with the last 10 years where everyone bended a knee to them. Now they have no friends and they're on an island by themselves. So now it's sort of like the zombie apocalypse. What do they do? So, what are they left with? Because everyone has rejected wokeism. DEI, it's all a fart. It's done. But those people still exist. So,
yeah, and they're still in media.
They still, like I said, yes, they are still in media. They're still in other places. But remember, the more they get rejected, what do? They either conform or they resist even more. And in my view, I believe that they resist even more. That's what I think they're going to do.
I see your point, and I agree with you.
Yeah. Thank you, Ken. I appreciate the call, sir. Let's get another check of our traffic with Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center. Your phone call's coming next. Hey, Mark.
Reese, thank you very much. Well, if you're heading into Hartford southbound side of I-91, you've got some slow traffic now from 33 down to 32 A and B. We are coming to you from the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. South of downtown, you're seeing delays again from 25S and N down to exit 22 in Cromwell. Earlier, jackknife tractor-trailer accident is clear. DOT is working down there in the right lane doing guardrail repair. Stay left. Very heavy traffic, Wethersfield into Cromwell right now. Northbound 91 moving while Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. 84 eastbound is slowing, approaching 46 to the Bulkley. Again, some sluggish traffic from approaching 58 out to 59 in the 384 interchange. Westbound 84 is tied up 56 Governor Street out to 45 Flatbush Avenue. And look out for an accident on the westbound side of 84 in Farmington out by exit 38. Looks like delays are back to exit 40 behind that. 291, 384 okay to the River 2 westbound slows exit 4 to the 84 West merge. Quiet Middletown. 84 westbound in Cheshire, you got delays 26 to 25 in Waterbury. If you're heading into New Haven, northbound Parkway slowing by 59. 95 southbound delays 46 to 44 in New Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Clear, breezy, and quite cold tonight. The low dipping back to 17 for us. A mostly cloudy day Thursday. A touch colder, the high down to 31, though it'll be a bit less windy for us. Then as we head through Thursday night, becoming clear, cold once again, the low down to 19. On Friday, partly sunny, the high of 38. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
And now, a WTIC news update.
5:30, a chilly 25 degrees in Hartford. I'm John Silva. WTIC 1080 News. Connecticut U.S. Attorney Vanessa Roberts Avery announcing the arrests of 7 alleged gang members from Hartford. The years-long investigation involved multiple murders, attempted murder, gun trafficking, racketeering, and other crimes. The group was formed in 2010. Avery says it went by a variety of names, including Hood Stars and Hood Star G's. Also, the suspects looking at multiple years in prison if convicted. Mediators announcing that Israel and Hamas have agreed to a ceasefire deal, pausing a 15-month war in Gaza and raising the possibility of winding down what has become the deadliest and most destructive fighting between the two enemies. Man was struck by a vehicle last weekend in Glastonbury, has died. Philip Burleson was struck attempting to cross Glastonbury Boulevard last Saturday evening. The driver, they say, is cooperating with the investigation. Confirmation hearings continued today for President-elect Trump's cabinet picks. Attorney General designate Pam Bondi appeared before the Judiciary Committee. Senator Marco Rubio, the choice for Secretary of State, also grilled by his Senate colleagues. Southern Californians on edge as the winds begin picking up during another round of dangerous fire weather. Those winds could gust up to 35 miles an hour in the L.A. area. Wall Street, big day for the markets. The Dow finished up 703 points. NASDAQ gained 466, and the S&P was up 107. Women's college basketball tonight. 6th-ranked UConn at St. John's. Looks as if Paige Beckers will be playing in this contest after being out for about a week with a knee injury. NBA tonight, Celtics in Toronto against the Raptors. Knicks will face Philly, and the Nets are out on the coast for a tilt with the Clippers. NHL locals are idle tonight. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group. And I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney. And the truth is, I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney or if I look like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. At Wesley, we've helped over 40,000 families cancel their timeshare without me being an attorney. And I want to share with you how we do it. Just give my office a call, and you will not talk to an attorney. And I guarantee if we take you as a client, we'll get you out of your timeshare, or you'll pay nothing.
Call now for your free information kit. 800-714-9090. 800-714-9090. 800-714-9090.
At California Psychic,
1 minute.
we know that when you haven't found love, it feels like everyone else has. Every movie has a love interest. Every song is a love song. Where are all the songs about cats? Or the joy of early bedtimes? And of course, the PDA. Looking for love sucks. Thankfully, California Psychics can give you the guidance you need to help you find the one. We connect you with the very best. In fact, 98% of the psychics who apply to work with us don't make the grade. That's why we can guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. Download the app or connect with us at CaliforniaPsychics.com. Right now, new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. So you could be feeling all lovey-dovey real soon. Experience the joy of certainty. California Psychic.
Here we go.
The Odyssey app lets you jump back to the moments you missed from WTIC News Talk 1080. Download the free Odyssey app, search WTIC News Talk 1080, and tap earlier today to get started.
New music. It's What Had Happened Was, brought to you by the Odyssey app, News Talk 1080 WTIC. And what had happened was, the purpose of what had happened was, if you are just joining us, is some people get into the show roughly about 4:30, sometimes at 5. But that's okay, because you can download the Odyssey app and you can listen to the show whenever you like. That's why you download the Odyssey app today, so you can get to it. So what had happened is real simple. So today we talked about Joy Reid months ago, maybe even less than a month ago, saying this about Donald Trump being a gangster.
We are seeing a global trend of the far right surging. It isn't just happening here. But let's bring you back to the U.S. and to our local gangster, Donald Trump. He's not even president yet, and he's already spending his time sitting in his golden palace, Mar-a-Lago, muscling other countries like he's Tony Soprano with a social media site. Doing things like, reportedly, debating whether or not to invade Mexico. Threatening BRICS countries, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, with 100% tariffs if they don't commit to trading in dollars and not their own currencies. Demanding Hamas release all hostages being held in Gaza before his inauguration, or there will be, quote, all hell to pay in the Middle East.
How dare he? How dare he tell Hamas, that evil terrorist organization, what to do? How dare he? Oh, and nothing makes me feel better than for this to happen today.
This is CNN Breaking News.
The breaking news coming in to CNN, a senior Biden administration official confirming that Hamas has agreed to a hostage release and ceasefire deal. I want to go straight to senior White House correspondent MJ Lee with the latest. MJ. MJ, what can you tell us about this deal that Hamas has agreed to? All right, MJ cannot hear us. I'm going to go to Alex Marquardt. This is a massive deal, weeks in the making, Alex.
Poor MJ. That woman is just looking at her phone. She's going, did he really just pull this off? She's probably looking for the post right now. She's like, when did he say it? How long ago was this? Did he actually just post something on social media and he got a terrorist organization to free hostages? We've been working on this for 15 months. How does this guy do it with a post online? Oh, it's insulting. So, of course, that's what had happened was so far. And we talked a little bit about Adam Schiff beefing with Pam Bondi today, and she made him look like a fool.
I'm asking you, sitting here today, whether you are aware of a factual predicate to investigate Liz Cheney.
Senator, no one
Based
has
on
asked
what you
me
know.
to investigate Liz Cheney. That is a
The
hypothetical.
president has called for it publicly. You are aware of that, aren't you?
No one has asked me to investigate.
But the president
Liz.
has
We're
called-
also
the
worried about
president-
Liz Cheney,
the
Senator.
president has
You know what
called
we
for
should
this-
be worried about?
Ms. Bondi,
the
please
crime rate
answer
in
my questions.
California right now
You
is
are
through
aware,
the roof.
Ms. Bondi,
Your
my-
robberies
Ms.
are
Bondi,
87%
my
higher
question-
than the national
my question
average.
is this.
That's what I
My
want to
question
be
is
focused
this.
on,
Do
Senator.
you have the
If
power
I'm
to
confirmed
say
as
no to the
Attorney
president?
General.
And
Yeah, Adam Schiff doesn't care about that. He's a clown, Jesus. Let's get another check of our traffic. We'll come back to your phone calls. It's Reese on the radio. Here's Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center.
Hi, Reese.
You clear?
Good afternoon to you. If you're traveling on the southbound side of I-91, look for delays in Hartford 33 down to 32A and B. And then you're back in the stop and go again as you move down by exit 24 down to exit 22 in Cromwell. Earlier tractor trailer accident down there. That's been clear, but the DOT is now working on the guardrail in the right lane just prior to exit 22. So that's a delay there. Stay to the left. Northbound 91 moving well. Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. Westbound 84 is tight 56 Governor Street out to 45 Flatbush Avenue. And again, you'll see some slow traffic moving up on 43 Park Road up to between 38 and 37 in Farmington. We have an accident in the left lane there. 84 eastbound, you've got delays a half mile before 46 Sisson Avenue down to the Bulkley Bridge. 2 westbound slows exit 4 to the 84 West merge in East Hartford. 291 through 84 okay east of the river. Quiet Middletown. Waterbury 84 westbound delays 26 to 25 on the westbound side of 84. If you're heading down in toward New Haven, 95 southbound, look for delays from 46 down to 44. And if you're on the northbound side of I-91, looks like there's an accident now, 91 northbound up by exit 6 in New Haven. So you've got delays pushing back toward the 95 interchange behind that. I'm Mark Christopher. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Clear, breezy, and cold tonight with the low down to 18. Mostly cloudy for us as we head through the day on Thursday, the high 34. Couple of flurries Thursday evening, otherwise becoming clear. Quite cold again, the low down to 20. Partly sunny Friday, the high 38. And then heading into Saturday, cloudy, breezy, bit of snow and rain at times in the afternoon, but little or no accumulation, the high of 41. Currently, it's 27 in New London, 28 in New Haven, Mansfield at 25 and 27 in Hartford. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
Can you give us
Hair Volume is the best-selling hair tablet in the world and one of many award-winning natural hair products from New Nordic. Purchase at newnordicusa.com or at CVS. That's newnordicusa.com.
Worried about the Trump tariffs? At Columbia Implant Center, our prices won't go up. We produce all dentures, crowns, and implants in-house in our own digital lab. Columbia Implant Center, 1 day, same day, 7 days a week. Visit ColumbiaImplantCenter.com.
Hi, I'm Joe with SimpleSaleUSA.com, and I buy houses cash. If you own a house and want to sell it fast at a fair price, call me at 203-896-4000. I can pay cash and close in as little as 7 days. I buy houses in any condition, any price range, and more importantly, anywhere in Connecticut. I'm a private real estate investor who buys several houses a month, and I want to buy more. I buy inherited houses, divorce houses, behind in payment houses. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. Do you own a house that is trash and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great, because I love buying junk houses. I buy vacant houses, abandoned houses, condemned houses, and even foreclosure houses. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at 203-896-4000. That's 203-896-4000. 203-896-4000.
1 minute.
Last night.
Thank you,
We
sir.
were in a car crash, and the kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
That's awful, hon.
My brother was saying he got life insurance from Ethos. With Ethos, it only took 10 minutes, and he got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day. It's all online. No medical exam. He just answered a few health questions right from his house.
Ethos, here we come.
Visit getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
Sample rate is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy, non-smoking male. Billed monthly.
The election is over and a new pro-business administration's about to begin. At Swish Funding, we're ready to help America's small businesses thrive in 25. Whether it's for cash flow, expansion, or new equipment, Swish Funding has flexible funding options from $25,000 up to $2 million. You could get a decision in minutes and cash in your account in as little as 24 hours. With rates as low as 8%. To qualify, be in business at least 1 year with monthly revenue of at least $50,000. Apply today at swishfunding.com. SWISA.
Here we go.
.com. What's up, everybody? You know who it is.
You know who it is.
You know who it is. It's Reese on the radio. Frederick Douglass of the 21st century.
It's WTIC News Talk 1080.
All right, we got plenty of stuff to get into before we end the show today, but I want to thank all of you for being a part of it. Your phone calls have been absolutely a joy, as they always are. And, of course, your comments in the chat room. Just to give you a heads up, tomorrow's show, I got plenty of stuff to get to. I've got audio sign bouts that we couldn't get to today, but we will definitely have you for you tomorrow. Yes, I've got the Adam Schiff stuff as well with Pam Bondi, but all that stuff was happening right during the show, and she was still live, and it's still a whole mess. But anyway, we'll get all of that. And we've got other sound bites and stories to get to as the Hamas hostage situation goes. By the way, in Washington, everybody's saying, it was like, hey, do we give Donald Trump the credit? It's like, credit is a thing. It's a weird thing. I think we all deserve credit. I'm loving it. Credit, Smedit. Trump did some things. We did some things. Everyone worked together. It was a collaboration. I love it. It's absolutely horrible to watch these people. It's fun. It's fun for me because I get the hell of a laugh out of it. And I know there's some people just going, why are you laughing? Why do you think this is so fun? Don't get mad. You know why it's funny. Because, again, this was the clown show that you kept telling us was doing a good job. And it's all falling apart. It's not a house of cards. Everything this was written in sand. All of it. It just it's just awful. To the phones we go. Mike's in Plainville. How we doing, Mike?
Good. Hey, is the Mark Christopher might be referring to the Waldorf Astoria Hotel in New York.
Oh, you know what? That's right. He must be.
Or it could be the Ritz. Is the Ritz in New York?
Ritz is in New York, but he would have known if it was. He would have known if it was the Ritz. He would have known if it's the Ritz. But the Waldorf, you're right. I totally forgot about that hotel.
Now, here's the thing about I call the NFL now the no fun league because, for many, the games are too long. There's too many penalties, mostly offensive holding, and they have to have a conference, a sidebar after every flag is thrown. Come on. Then you got the commercials, and then you got Tom Brady. I had to put the TV on mute. This guy's he's horrible.
Don't worry about it. Next year, they're taking him out of the booth. This has been such a crapshoot with the Tom Brady in the booth thing. They're not even going to do it next year.
You're a great quarterback, 7-time Super Bowl winner. You can't just leave it and move on. Oh my God, I can't sit. It's like
you know what? Here's the thing. Let me say the Tom Brady thing is like this. Okay, Tom Brady is a successful football player that many in the NFL hated. To think that a 7-time winning, 10-time appearing in the Super Bowl hated quarterback would transfer easily into a national game across the country, that people would be willing to accept him into their home when they're still bitter about him beating their team. Like somebody thought that was a recipe for success. That's the reason why the NFL Network is failing as a broadcast company.
One of the reasons why he lasted as long as he did in the NFL was because he was protected.
Yeah, indeed. But he was hated. He's not one of those quarterbacks that you invite to the home. At least, unfortunately, and I say this, it's weird, because Tom Brady has the opposite effect of what Joe Montana does for the league.
Yeah.
You didn't hate Joe Montana.
Do you think the fact that Tom Brady is kind of like people think he's too squeaky clean?
Yes, I think that's a problem. I think that's true. But, of course, it's kind of because he's reclusive and he's very awkward.
Let me tell you a little story last night, what happened to me when I got home, if you got a minute.
Real quick.
I bought some scratch-off tickets, okay? So I'm sitting down, and I turn on Fox News, and they're having, a review of the day's events, and they put on Whoopi Goldberg to listen to her gibberish, okay? I said, these tickets, I'm not going to win anything on these tickets. So I scratch one ticket, there's nothing. The second ticket I hit for 100.
What does Whoopi Goldberg have to do with this? Did she give you good luck?
Well, I was watching it when I was scratching the ticket.
I'm just going to let it go with that. Thank you, Mike. Let me go to another caller. Dan is in East Windsor. How we doing, Dan?
Hey, Reese. Real quick, I called just before 4 o'clock. But anyway,
that's okay.
Real quick before I get to my main point, going back to the whole LBJ thing, I've always thought that LBJ has something to do with it, so that doesn't come as any big surprise to me. Yeah,
okay,
but because the two of them, every report I've ever seen said the two of them hated each other. In fact, the only reason he was even picked to be Kennedy's vice president was because Kennedy needed the South.
Exactly.
That was the reason. But now to my main point, I called about the ceasefire deal. Because gotta wonder if the guy that brokered the deal if his name was Ben Dover, because that's pretty much what the deal. That's pretty much what the deal is. Seriously, Hamas is going to release one hostage, and for every one living hostage they release, Israel has to give up 30 Palestinian prisoners. Wow, was that called the bend over and take it up the crease deal?
Yeah, you know what? I'm agreeing with you there. I haven't seen the details of the deal, of course, because I'm on the show. But yeah, I want to see what the deal is. But nonetheless, look, the fact that we got here to the negotiating table, I know that Hamas is looking at this as, okay, look, we're going to give Donald Trump what he wants in his threat, but we're going to see if we could broker something. Like, no terrorist organization is going to make this deal without getting something out of it because, again, they don't want to look weak.
Yeah, and here's the thing, too. All the ceasefire does, Israel is the only one who's going to abide by it.
Exactly.
The ceasefire just gives Hamas time to regroup, rearm, and reengage.
Exactly what it is. In 4 years, it'll be 4 years of a ceasefire. They'll wait until the next election, see if the next president is feckless, and then they'll go back to business as usual. That's usually how it happens.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, sir. Let's go to Craig in the car. How we doing, sir? Craig.
Yeah, 3 things for you.
What you got?
Football sucks. Football sucks. Watch hockey.
I love hockey.
Number 2, playoff hockey. There's nothing more exciting than that.
Couldn't agree more.
Number 2, Joy Reid is so stupid. She doesn't know that calling Trump an OG is not an insult. Just crying out loud.
True words.
He's built his whole career on being an OG. Come
Right.
on. Second, third thing, I've been thinking about this, all week with the California fires.
Mm-hmm.
That the focus is on all the homes that are lost and the people that are displaced and all that stuff. But California is the home of car culture.
Yes.
How many cars do you think were left in garages that got burned to a cinder?
Oh.
And when these people get their insurance checks for the $30,000 car that's in the garage that they can't replace because California's going to make them buy a $100,000 EV.
Yeah.
What do you think that does, number one, to the insurance industry, and number two, to the people that have to replace those cars?
Yeah, you're right. That car culture is going to be so weird.
Put the nail in the coffin of liberalism.
I think that's the interest. I mean, Craig, I think
California won't let you buy a gas-powered vehicle.
I know, in 2032. I think they may even started earlier. But I think you just touched on something. As you were speaking, I was thinking about it, and then you actually said it. I think the reason why the California fires have had such or have received such a response nationwide. I mean, you think about it. This is all the way over here in Connecticut. Why would anybody care? What people really care about, and I think talk radio has been sort of emblematic of that, is they're watching liberalism burn to a crisp right before their eyes, and it's on television, and they can't wiggle their way out of it. No matter how much the media tries to spin it, it clearly looks like incompetence on two of what can only be Karen Bass is the mayor of the second most populous city in the country, and Gavin Newsom is the governor of the fifth largest economy in the world, in California. And they've had liberal rule, and we're talking about complete liberal rule for 30, 40 years. And watching this crumble is important to everybody because they know that there's a sea change coming. What were you saying?
Well, because it's going to hit him right in the nose now.
Yeah.
So I'm in the commercial truck industry.
Mm-hmm.
I know it inside and out, and this has already had an effect. So California Air Resources Board has something called the Advanced Clean Truck Fleet Rule, which means that if you operate a fleet of trucks in California, as a consumer, a certain number of trucks that you buy and operate have to be zero emissions.
Oh, okay.
They dropped it today.
Really?
It's gone. So I'll send you a couple of articles about it.
Yeah.
It happened within the last 5 or 6 days. They've been fighting it.
But they don't have a choice now.
Said, no mas, we're done.
Yeah, they don't have a choice anymore. They don't. And you know what? What made them look even horrible, Craig?
How many commercial diesel?
Oh, yeah. Well, look at it this way. Did you hear this thing about them? While the city's still burning and they're still dealing with more Santa Ana winds and more hurricane like winds, they go up to Sacramento and they pass a $50 million resolution to fight Donald Trump. And it's like, dude, you've got bigger problems. Like there is a cultural and political shift happening in your state, and you're still fighting Trump. I don't know. I don't get it.
Democrats are always looking at the wrong thing. That's one example. And the Liz Cheney, Adam Schiff thing is the same thing. Really, your entire state is burning down now, and you're worried about what's going to happen to Liz Cheney in Montana?
Exactly.
Seriously. I mean, come on. The American people, I know it's been said many times before, are not stupid. I've thought for the last few years they probably are. I'm hoping this is a reality check, man. I really am.
I know that's what you know. What patiently
it has to be so devastating, but
patiently we are waiting to see exactly what that is. Because look, I'll be honest with you, it's hard to believe that what's his name, Andrew Cuomo, after COVID, is the front runner to lead New York City after all the damage he did with the lives that were lost during COVID, seniors lost in COVID in New York City. New York City is trying to have him as a leader again. It may look like California will turn around and say enough is enough, but I'll be honest with you, I have no faith in him. I have none. I mean, this is like, what's
No.
it? Is it
Keep your
Missouri's?
fingers crossed, brother.
I know.
God bless you. Have a great night.
Thank you, man. God bless you. I think it's the Missouri state, right? It's the Show Me state, the Missouri. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. They've got to convince me. They got to convince me. I always ask, when is enough going to be enough? And I don't think there's a likelihood. I don't. Let me see. Oh, Chuck D says, California, just like us here in New York, horrible Democrat leadership. No one is ever held accountable for what they're in charge of. And I think that's what we're getting. John Beckman says, hockey is the best sport to watch in person. I love it on television, too. I saw a guy edited out everything to buy the gameplay, and there was only 16 minutes of games shown on TV. Oh, yeah. I've actually have that. I watch that silly thing. I don't know why, but I watch it. I watch all of the games as they're happening live. All right, we got to come back and we got to do this again tomorrow. So, guys, make sure that you're here. And you can also check out the show. Joey, is the show going to be in the Odyssey app today? So can people go to watch the podcast of the show? Is that how it's working?
They'll be able to get the rewind feature through the app.
Okay, so the rewind feature is on the app. So download the Odyssey app if you ever missed the program. So they could do that live. And I guess it's just going to be, it's just Reese on the radio. Have they changed, like, is my logo there, or is that what am I doing?
Not yet.
Not logo. No logo yet.
So you just have to go to the 3 to 6 hour.
Okay, so the 3 to 6 hour, and it's just blank. Okay, all right. That's all. We can't do anything legally.
It takes a little bit of time.
I've heard. That's okay. All right, folks. As I always say, radio is free, so we thank you for paying attention. Remember to keep JC in your hearts and in your minds. Sean Patrick, we love you and we miss you. Remember that panic is not planning, so plan your work and work your plan. Me, I'm Reese on the radio. You have a good night and a pleasant tomorrow. But hold on. Before we do anything, I want to tell you this. Wait, real quick. I want to tell you this. Listen very closely. Tomorrow, you have to be on ReeseOnTheRadio.com to see what I'm going to show you. I sent this to Roland back in 2000. I'm sorry, I sent this back to Roland last week. It is an article from 2007 that I promise you is going to blow your mind about yours truly. Just wait for it tomorrow. I'll have it up there so you can see it live. It'll be right here to my right, but you have to go to Reese on the Radio tomorrow to actually see it. All right? So with that, I'm Reese on the Radio. You have a good night and a pleasant tomorrow. And now let's get to Mark Christopher, who's in the BPS Driving Center. Good night, Mark.
Good night, Reese. And Mike from Plainville, absolutely right. I stayed at the Waldorf Astoria.
He was
That's
right.
the
Okay.
famous hotel that I stayed
That's
at.
swanky,
Yeah.
my friend.
It really, I was looking at my wife.
Do you know who else stayed there?
Everybody.
No.
I would assume.
Akeem from Coming to America.
Really?
Yes, my son works. Tell him to meet us
McDaniels,
at the
was it?
Waldorf Astoria.
What was it, McDaniels? What was the name of the restaurant?
McDowell's.
McDowell's, that's what it was.
My son works? That's what James
And
Earl
then-
Jones said.
And then the father from Good Times was
John
the
Amos.
owner. John Amos.
That's right. Yep.
Great movie. Hey, Reese, have a great night. If you're heading into Hartford South,
Hey, you're clear.
Thank you, sir.
Have a good one, buddy.
Thank you, man. See you later.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Maybe tomorrow. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows?
And that's all gone now. All lanes are reopened down by 22 in Cromwell. So if you're in that delay, that should start to ease out now quickly. Excuse me. Northbound 91 moving.
He's got more than a head cold. That goes without saying. Wow. That was a serious cough. All right, folks. Tomorrow, I'm going to show you something. Let me give you a hint for those of you on the who are on the app and you are still watching. So stay there. Listen to me very, very closely. So back in 2007, I had gotten a call that I was going to be going to WRKO. Thank you, Chuck. I got the call that I was going to be going to WRKO after in 2007 in October, I was told I was brought up there to do a guest spot, right? Just come in and just fill in and see what you sound like. And I got the job, and I started in December. And an article came out on December 18th of 2007. Tomorrow's show, I'm going to show you what that article said. It is going to blow your mind. So stay tuned for that. All right? I love you guys. Be good to each other.